While speaking at the Moscow Conference on International Security in Patriot Park, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that the hegemony that Western globalist elite are trying to maintain will lead the world to stagnation and neoliberal totalitarianism. Here's more.
Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that the hegemony that the West globalist elites are trying to maintain will lead the world to stagnation and neoliberal totalitarianism.
Дамы и господа, уважаемые зарубежные гости, приветствую вас на юбилейной 10-й Московской конференции по международной безопасности. За прошедшее десятилетие ваш представительный форум стал значимой площадкой для обсуждения самых острых военно-политических проблем.
Putin also stressed that the US and his vessels interfere in domestic affairs of other states and force them to comply with their will. According to Putin, the situation in the Asia-Pacific was another example of how the US is fueling conflicts in other regions. He added that Russia sees US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan as a carefully planned provocation.
Формируются контуры многополярного мироустройства. Все больше стран и народов выбирают путь свободного, суверенного развития с опорой на свою самобытность, традиции, ценности. Этим объективным процессам противодействуют западные глобалистские элиты.
Russian Defense Minister stated that no one in the NATO has any doubt that the goals of the special operations set by Russian leadership will be achieved. The Defense Minister also said that Russia has no plans to use nuclear or chemical weapons.
Эта конференция проходит в условиях радикального изменения системы глобальной и региональной безопасности. Безусловное доминирование Соединенных Штатов Америки и их союзников остается в прошлом. 24 февраля 2022 года начало специальной военной операции на Украине ознаменовало окончание однополярного мира.
This comes in the backdrop of Moscow launching a military offensive in Ukraine in the late February after recognizing Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republic's independence. Kiev denounced the Russian attack, and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky imposed a martial law throughout the country, announcing a general mobilization. During the peace talks, Russia called for Ukraine to declare itself officially neutral, providing guarantees that it will never join NATO. Agency report, Republic TV.
And after the failed Twitter bid, Tesla boss Elon Musk is now his eyes set on Manchester United. Musk tweeted, and I quote, "Also, I'm buying Manchester United. You're welcome." It's not yet confirmed, but the tweet has certainly created a buzz among Manchester United fans. So breaking news coming in now. The world's richest man, Tesla boss Elon Musk, who is already in an arduous legal battle over his failed Twitter bid, now tweets that he has his eyes set on the football team Manchester United. In his tweet, which you have on your screens, Musk says, "Also, I'm buying Manchester United. You're welcome." It's a truth that's not yet been confirmed, and one does not really know how serious Musk is. But this comes after his failed Twitter bid, and he says that he is buying Manchester United. Also adds, "You're welcome." So the Tesla boss might just become the next owner of football team Miuri. In other international stories, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accuses Russia of nuclear blackmail, calls for new sanctions to be imposed in response to it. Further, Zelensky warns the presence of Russian forces around Europe's largest nuclear power plant threatens Europe and beyond. Army 2022 exhibition, Russia unveils a military robot with an attached rocket launcher. Robot is a four-legged machine. dubbed with M81. Advertised as a combat unit capable of striking targets and transporting ammunition. According to sources, the robot was later found to have striking similarities to a Chinese model available for purchase at an online shopping site. China expresses concern over military drills between the United States, South Korea and Japan last week. Further says it brought, and I quote, negative impact to the Korean peninsula. Notably, the US Department of Defense says the navies of the three countries took part in missile warnings and ballistic missiles, and further added it aimed at furthering trilateral cooperation in face of North Korean challenges. According to a statement by the European Commission, it said as several European countries endure high temperatures and a lack of rain, Europe could be facing its worst drought in 500 years. It also further stated that a definite answer for the same cannot be given at the moment. But according to current data presented, it looks like it might take a bad shape, even worse than 2018. As of now, the drought that the country is experiencing is affecting agriculture, forcing water restrictions and causing wildfires. Another setback for micro-blogging website Twitter. In the ongoing tiff over Twitter deal with multi-millionaire Elon Musk, the court has ordered Musk will receive some of the extra information he is demanded from Twitter in the lawsuit against him. And coming up, China condemns the United States, South Korea and Japan joint military drills, says action to increase tensions must be stopped. All the details coming up next. Stay tuned. Also coming up, blast hits Russia's Crimea ammunition site. More than 3,000 people evacuated after ammunition detonation.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the recently released Times of India B-School 2022 rankings, a testimony to Amity BBA's globally benchmarked standards in education.
The AIFFs are now taking out this march there in Srinagar district. Instructions are also being issued to the people not to take part in any kind of large gatherings. And the AIFFs, along with ADGP Law and Order Alok Kumar, they are seen marching here in the very vicinity, in the very lane where the unfortunate incident of stabbing had basically taken place. Kashmir police has gone on record to confirm terrorists fired upon civilians in an apple orchard in Chotipura area of Shopian. One person has been killed, another injured. Both belong to a minority community. Kashmiri Pandits once again are coming under attack.
The multiple cordon and search operation launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police with the army so that to nab or neutralize the terrorists behind.
I just want to ask you people, to the BJP people and the local administration, more than 20 times in this 2022 they are already imposed 144 section. Is this a way to treat the people?
The FIFA ban that has come shockingly, surprisingly today on hosting the Under-17 World Cup that was to be held in India in 3 cities in October. They're talking about the Supreme Court that tried to solve the muck in the All India Football Federation by saying there needs to be a committee overseeing whatever's happening here.
Look at the entire... The police was right now taking part in a flag march.
You can see the bulldozer enter in the society. That's the bulldozer.
भारत और ओमान के बीच संयुक्त सैन्य अभ्यास जो है वो किया जा रहा है।
एक बार फिर जो है कश्मीरी पंडित समुदाय को निशाना बनाया गया है।
You're watching The World This Morning, and after the break, we tell you about how the first shipment of grain to leave Ukraine under a wartime deal appears to have ended up in Syria. The arrival of the cargo ship Razoni in Syria comes after the government in Kyiv praised the ship's initial departure from the port of Odessa as a sign that Ukraine could safely ship out its barley, corn, sunflower oil and wheat to a hungry world where global food prices have spiked in part due to the war. Take a look.
The first shipment of grain to leave Ukraine under a wartime deal appears to have ended up in Syria, even as Damascus remains a close ally of Moscow. The arrival of the cargo ship Razoni in Syria comes after the government in Kiev praised the ship's initial departure from the port of Odessa as a sign that Ukraine could safely ship out its barley, corn, sunflower oil and wheat to a hungry world where global food prices have spiked in part due to the war. Its arrival in Syria's port shows how complicated international trade and shipping can be. Syria has already received Ukrainian grain taken from Russian-occupied territory amid Russia's attacks on Kiev. These images from Planet Labs BBC showed the Sierra Leone flagged Razoni at the port just before 11 a.m. on Monday. The vessel was next to the port's grain silos, which is a key to supplying wheat to the nation of 17.5 million people. Data from Razoni's automatic identification system tracker shows it had been turned off since Friday when it was just off the coast of Cyprus. While ships are supposed to keep their AIS trackers on, vessels wanting to hide their movements often turn their trackers off. The Razoni could be identified in the satellite image by its color, length and width, as well as the 4 large white cranes on its deck. Agency report, Republic TV.
And according to Japanese weather officials, tropical storm Miuri unleashed heavy rains on Japan's main Honshu island as it headed northward towards the capital, Tokyo.
A tropical storm hit Shizuoka Prefecture in central Japan, causing landslides, flooding and damage to infrastructure. The footage shows the aftermath with houses reduced to rubble, roofs ripped off and sandbags in place to prevent the flooding. The cleanup operation was also in progress, with the digger clearing up some of the debris. Homes destroyed, trains delayed and flights were cancelled as the tropical storm swept over parts of central Japan. The storm made landfall at Japan's Izu Peninsula, causing many transport links, including trains and flights, to be cancelled. Authorities have asked 72,000 people to evacuate due to the torrential rains in the Shizuoka city. Meanwhile, reports state that some areas saw 50% more rain than the entire amount expected in August. Agency report, Republic TV.
The foreign ministers of Bahrain and Jordan met. Sources say that several international and regional issues were discussed, including the Palestinian issue, the war in Yemen, the Iranian nuclear issue, the war in Ukraine, global food security, and the energy crisis. A detailed report.
Bahrain's Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid met his Jordanian counterpart Ayman al-Safadi in Amman. According to Bahrain's Foreign Minister, several international and regional issues were discussed.
تدارسنا عددا من القضايا الإقليمية والدولية ذات الاهتمام المشترك، ومن بينها القضية الفلسطينية والحرب في اليمن والملف النووي الإيراني والحرب في أوكرانيا والأمن الغذائي العالمي وأزمة الطاقة وغيرها من القضايا المهمة.
He further added that the position of the two kingdoms towards ending the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is firm.
وفيما يتعلق بالقضية الفلسطينية فإن موقف البلدين تجاهها ثابت ودائم، ويدعو إلى ضرورة إنهاء الصراع الفلسطيني الإسرائيلي والدفع بعملية السلام في الشرق الأوسط من أجل التوصل إلى تسوية شاملة وعادلة تحفظ حقوق الشعب الفلسطيني في إقامة دولته المستقلة وفقا لمبدأ حل الدولتين.
To which Jordan's foreign minister Ayman al-Safadi said that Jordan was making all efforts to find a real political platform to relaunch talks.
معاليه بصورة الجهود التي تقوم بها المملكة من أجل إيجاد أفق سياسي حقيقي يعيد إطلاق مفاوضات جادة وفاعلة تأخذنا باتجاه تحقيق السلام الشامل على أساس حل الدولتين الذي ينهي الاحتلال والذي يجسد الدولة الفلسطينية المستقلة ذات السيادة وعاصمتها القدس المحتلة على خطوط الرابع من حزيران للعام 1967.
He added that there was no other solution to this conflict than the two-state solution.
حل آخر لهذا الصراع، وإذا لم يتحقق حل الدولتين فنحن ذاهبون باتجاه حال الدولة الواحدة التي ستكرس الأبارتايد، وهذا أمر لن يؤدي إلى السلام. وأي طرح غير طرح حل الدولتين وأي حديث آخر هو حديث تنطير عبثي.
Meanwhile, Bahrain's foreign minister is also expected to meet with Jordan's King Abdullah II later in the day. Agency report for Republic TV.
With climate change making devastating wildfires more likely, experts warn Spain and Portugal need to better manage their forests to stop vast swathes of land from being torched every year.
Portugal is facing a difficult summer with heat waves and wildfires. More than 1,000 firefighters were fighting several active fronts of a wildfire in the region of Portugal. The wildfire had been deemed under control, but several rekindlings have put local residents and authorities on alert. According to local authorities, the fire has already charred around 10 square kilometers.
Temos cerca de 1000 operacionais no terreno para fazer fundamentalmente duas frentes. Uma frente que está aqui, que como vocês viram, que graça aqui muito perto de nós, e outra frente que está na região da Guarda, mas que está mais controlada.
The Portuguese Weather Service said that July was the hottest since national records began in 1931. Meanwhile, in Spain, firefighters were battling several wildfires that broke out in various regions, including Monda in Alicante and Castellón. According to sources, the fire is still active in Alicante and has reportedly burnt 3,500 hectares. Nearly 1,000 people were forced to evacuate the place for their safety. Fire officials said that strong winds and high temperatures have made it more difficult for them to douse the fire. So far this year, 43 large wildfires have been registered to have occurred in Spain and its vicinity, and that has burned at least 500 hectares of land. Meanwhile, much of Spain has and will be in the grip of its third heat wave since June, as temperatures are set to soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And other international news, 3 passengers suffered serious burns after they tried to pass through an area hit by a fierce wildfire in Spain's Castellón region. The service from Valencia to Miraflores was forced to stop and evacuate the passengers as the train tracks ran close to the towering flames. Ukraine and Poland reopened one of the busiest border crossings between them after it was shut down to upgrade the facility and increase its capacity. Land border crossings have become more crucial to Ukraine since much of the east and south was occupied by Russian forces and the ports of Odessa and Mykolaiv. United Nations spokesperson Stefan Dujarric announces Secretary General Antonio Guterres will be in leave to meet with Turkey's president. And the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the chief, is also scheduled to visit Odessa and Istanbul to see one of the ports involved in the Black Sea Grain Initiative and the Joint Coordination Center set up to implement it. Peru records the highest number of monkeypox patients in Latin America and the second highest in South America, according to Peru's Medical Association. Infectiologists in the country have begun to draw hypotheses to find the reasons for the rapid expansion of the virus. Health officials are warning people who are infected with monkeypox to stay away from household pets, since the animals could be at risk of catching it. Concern was raised after a report from France published last week in the medical journal Lancet about an Italian greyhound that had caught the virus. And that's all in world this morning. Coming up next in the Morning Express, massive manhunt launched. Forces bust the terror hideout of Adilwani. Terrorists behind the Shopia killing. And also coming up, storm over FIFA scandal, top court to hear the matter today.
Kashmir police has gone on record to confirm terrorists fired upon civilians in an apple orchard in Chotipura area of Shopian. One person has been killed, another injured. Both belong to a minority community. Kashmiri Pandits once again are coming under attack.
The multiple coordinate search operation launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police with army so that to nab or neutralize the terrorists behind.
I just want to ask you people, to the BJP people and the local administration, more than 20 times in this 2022 they are already imposed 144 section. Is this a way to treat the people?
The FIFA ban that has come shockingly, surprisingly today on hosting the Under-17 World Cup that was to be held in India in 3 cities in October. They're talking about the Supreme Court that tried to solve the muck in the All India Football Federation by saying there needs to be a committee overseeing whatever's happening here.
Looking at the entire situation, the police has now imposed section 144 and there is a ban on large gatherings for the next 3 days.
Already 4 persons were involved in this stabbing incident yesterday of Prem Singh. So they have been secured. So one person, Zabiullah, he has been secured after opening a light.
The police person right now taking part in a march, flag march.
You can see the bulldozer enter in the society. That's the bulldozer.
भारत और ओमान के बीच संयुक्त सैन्य अभ्यास जो है वो किया जा रहा है।
एक बार फिर जो है कश्मीरी पंडित समुदाय को निशाना बनाया गया है।
Massive manhunt launched. Forces bust the terror hideout of Adilwani. Terrorists behind Shopian killing. Massive protests erupt in Budgaon after targeted killing of Kashmiri Pandit in Jammu and Kashmir, Shopian. Storm over FIFA scandal, top court to hear matter today. Three fresh resignations of Congress leaders after Azad quits as chairman of the campaign committee. Top Mamata man Anuratha under arrest, sources say CBI to quiz daughter today. A very good morning. Thank you for tuning into Republic TV. I'm Nivedna Prabhu. First up, some breaking news coming in from Maharashtra. A train en route Nagpur from Raipur met with an accident, injuring 50 passengers this morning. One compartment of the train, in fact, went off track. This is the big breaking that we are getting from Maharashtra, a train accident in Gondia. We are learning as of now that 50 have been injured in Maharashtra's tragic train accident. This is the big breaking that we're having at the moment that is coming in from Maharashtra. The injured have been hospitalized. The train accident took place in Gondia. We can see the visuals right there, viewers. 50 have been injured in the tragic accident in Maharashtra. Now this is a breaking coming in from Maharashtra. Now a train en route from Nagpur, from Raipur met with an accident injuring 50 passengers this morning. Now one compartment of the train in fact went off track. They were injured after 3 bogies of a train derailed in Gondia around 2:30 a.m. at night. Now, collision between goods train and passenger train Bhagat Ki Koti due to non-receipt of signal led to the accident. No deaths were reported. These are the first pictures coming from the accident site. For more information on this, we're joined in by Sandeep. Sandeep, we are learning about this tragic accident that has taken place in Gondia. What are the details? Can you tell us about this?
See, yes, the train Bhagat Ki Koti, which was coming from Raipur to Nagpur, in fact, met with an accident. The high-speed train pushed a goods train from behind, which led to the major accident. And in fact, 3 bogies of the Bhagat Ki Koti train went off track and were derailed. In fact, 50 passengers have been injured minorly, and in fact 13 are seriously injured. The matter of relief is that no one has died in this accident. So definitely the rail traffic is responsible for this, and as of now the injured have been taken to the hospital and are being treated, and they are stable as of now. But yes, major questions are rising on the railway traffic, and the railway traffic control is trying to clear the traffic in the tracks that took place. Now the inquiry will definitely be set up in regards to this case.
All right, Sandeep, thank you for getting us the latest on that. We will continue to track the developments in the story. But moving on, let's take a look at the situation in Karnataka, Shivamogga, and the political mudslinging over Savarkar and Tipu's clashes. Here's a report.
Karnataka is on the boil after a youth was stabbed following clashes in Shivamogga. And the reason was because of a mega face-off over Veer Savarkar's portrait being erected, resulting in communal clashes, Tipu Sultan's poster replacing it, and Section 144 being imposed in the area. After violent clashes in Shivamogga, Veer Savarkar's poster was torn by a group of people in Tumakuru city yesterday, with fears of similar situations panning out in other parts of Karnataka as well. While the police are trying to quell tensions, elsewhere it was nothing but political mudslinging. While Congress leader DK Shivakumar warned of a worsening situation earlier,
police ಅವರಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಧಾಕಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಕಾನೂನು ರೀತಿ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿದೆ.
It did not take the Congress seconds to politicize the situation, with Siddaramaya's logic being why was Veer Savarkar's portrait being installed in a Muslim-dominated area in the first place.
ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಆಯ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ.
Siddaramaya's remark came in as a sharp attack to BJP leader KS Ishwarappa's comments.
ये मुसलमान लोगों में कौन सीनियर्स है उसको मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, आपका यूथ राष्ट्रद्रोही काम वो कौन कर रहा है उनके ऊपर आप उनको क्या बोलना बोलो, नहीं तो ये हिंदू समाज है और पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट है, उनको क्या हम सिखाना है हम सीखेंगे, सिखाना है।
In the past as well, the Congress has tried to paint Savarkar in poor light.
भाजपा के पूर्वजों के देश तोड़ने के इरादे अभी रुके नहीं थे। 1937 में हिंदू महासभा का अध्यक्ष बनते ही सावरकर ने दो राष्ट्र के अपने इरादे यानी विभाजन के अपने कुटिल इरादे जाहिर कर दिए। उधर जिन्ना और मुस्लिम लीग तो हिंदुस्तान को तोड़ने की ताक में थे ही और उनके विभाजन के सिद्धांत को सावरकर, श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी जैसे भाजपा के पूर्वजों का पुरजोर समर्थन भी मिल रहा था।
वीर सावरकर जी का जो योगदान रहा है भारत की स्वतंत्रता मूवमेंट में, वो कोई भी नकार नहीं सकता है। इंदिरा गांधी जी ने भी जब प्रधानमंत्री थी, उन्होंने उनका पोस्टल स्टैम्प जारी किया था, उन्होंने उनके ऊपर एक फिल्म बनाई थी और उनका पार्लियामेंट में एक बहुत ही बड़ी पोर्ट्रेट भी लगी हुई है। तो मैं मानती हूँ कि हर जन का योगदान होना चाहिए। किसी को बड़ा दिखाने में और किसी को छोटा दिखाने में जो आजकल काम हो रहा है, उससे हमें बचना चाहिए।
While police are conducting flag marches to maintain law and order, 4 accused have been arrested in connection with the Shivamoga violence, while 2 have been remanded to police custody for 2 days. 2 others are expected to be produced in court today.
Right now, it is situation is normal. After yesterday's incident, we have arrested all the 4 accused persons, and we are keeping a strict vigil, close vigil on the situation. And tonight also that will continue, and tomorrow also will continue.
As political mudslinging continues, the big question is, why incite, divide and polarize, celebrating the contribution of Veer Savarkar? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, a drone spotted near Ambala Air Base. The FIR has been registered. Drone spotted near Ambala Air Base on August 13th and August 15th. Now, AIFF filed a complaint with local police, mentions that the drone or the quadcopter spotted flying nearby the Air Force station. And this is the big breaking that we have coming in. Now, drones have been spotted near the Ambala Air Base, and the drones were spotted on August 13th and 15th. And an FIR has been registered on the complaint filed by Station Security Officer of Ambala Air Base Wing Commander PP Srivatswa, who stated that on 2 occasions in recent days, a drone or quadcopter has been spotted flying over certain areas around the Air Force station. Now, for more on this, we're joined in by Amandeep. Amandeep, we are getting information that the drones have spotted near the Ambala Air Base, but what more can you tell us about this story?
Well, absolutely. Now the police is investigating the matter, and in fact they are also questioning the nearby people, just because Ambala Air Force Station is exactly located nearby the residential area, and that entire area is cantonment area. From one side, if we just talk about the geographical location of the Indian Air Force Station of Ambala, on one side there was a national highway leading to Delhi, and on the other side there was a cantonment area. So either ways, these drones were being spotted from both the sides, and that is the reason they have sounded the alert. Indian Air Force has completely sounded the alert, and in fact drones with quadcopters were spotted, and quadcopters are known to carry the heavy payload and drop that payload at anywhere, and in fact their range and potential is quite heavy from the normal drones. So it seems to be like that some payload supposed to be dropped through these drones, and that is the reason Indian Air Force has lodged a complaint with the local police, and further investigation is on, just because 2 important occasions were on 13th of August and 15th of August. These drones have been spotted nearby the Ambala Air Force Station, which is the home of Indian Air Force.
Okay, Amandeep, getting us all those information. Thank you, Amandeep. We'll continue to come back to you on this particular story, but we're getting a reaction as well in terms of this particular story. Let's take a listen in.
जो 15 अगस्त 2022 को हमारे पास एक शिकायत प्राप्त हुई एयरफोर्स स्टेशन की तरफ से कि जो अर्ली मॉर्निंग 15 अगस्त को एक ड्रोन जो है उन्होंने उड़ता देखा है लाल रंग का, और उससे पहले 13 अगस्त को भी वो कह रहे हैं कि इस तरह का उन्होंने एक फ्लाइंग ऑब्जेक्ट ऐसे देखा। तो जैसे ही हमें वो शिकायत प्राप्त हुई तो सिक्योरिटी के मद्देनज़र हमने तुरंत जो है उस पर FIR दर्ज कर दी है अम्बाला कैंट पुलिस स्टेशन में अंडर सेक्शन 188, और क्योंकि ये अज्ञात व्यक्तियों के खिलाफ है तो जल्दी इसमें जो है कार्रवाई करी जाएगी और इन्वेस्टिगेशन कंप्लीट करी जाएगी।
फर्दर सिक्योरिटी के लिए क्या कीजिए?
फर्दर सिक्योरिटी के लिए पहले भी 15 अगस्त के मद्देनज़र हमारे पुख्ता इंतज़ाम थे और आगे भी जो इस तरह की, क्योंकि ये मामला सामने आया है तो आगे भी हम जो है सुरक्षा और बढ़ा देंगे।
शिकायत किसने दी है?
शिकायत जो है हमारे विंग कमांडर हैं, स्टेशन सिक्योरिटी ऑफिसर, एयरफोर्स स्टेशन अम्बाला।
Now moving on, the international governing body of Association Football, FIFA, announced that the All India Football Federation has been suspended with immediate effect. Informing the reason for the suspension, FIFA said that the undue influence on the Indian football governing body from third party constitutes a serious violation of the status provided by FIFA. With the suspension, India lost their rights to host the upcoming FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup while suffering several other consequences. Here's a report.
Indian football is gaining pace. The Prime Minister is personally supporting players.
फुटबॉल के फैंस ज्यादातर कहते हैं बैंड इट लाइक ए बेकहम, लेकिन मुझे भरोसा है कि अब वो कहेंगे एस इट लाइक ए अफसान।
India was all set to kick off the Under-17 Women's World Cup on our home ground. A clean-up of the AIFF had just commenced under the aegis of a Supreme Court panel with the removal of those who had surpassed their term, like Praful Patel, who had been the AIFF president for 16 years. And then, in a massive embarrassment, FIFA suspended the AIFF, putting all of it at stake. It was a huge matter of prestige for Indian football. The FIFA ban scandal has left fans and players disappointed.
Very unfortunate that FIFA has banned Indian football, and at the same time I feel it's a very harsh decision from FIFA to ban Indian football. But at the same time I think it's a great opportunity to get our system right. And it's very important that all the stakeholders, the federation, state association, sports ministry, to come together, get the system right, and everybody work for betterment of Indian football.
To plant seeds of doubt on the world governing body for football, which is FIFA, and to try and say that any action by Supreme Court is a third party action is blasphemous and almost contemptuous of the court.
Audio clips have now surfaced, but Republic has no independent confirmation on whether the voice is of Praful Patel.
My feeling is, please trust me, see, I can say only so many things, I cannot speak everything, but I can say this much. The purpose of that letter is also to help you. Yes, exactly. That's all I can say. It can be listed for an urgent hearing. That is why I'm saying the purpose of the letter is to help you.
Praful Patel, who has been the president of the top Indian football body AIFF, is yet to issue a statement.
ये बड़ा शॉकिंग इसीलिए है क्योंकि कल जब मीटिंग हुई थी यूनियन स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया अलॉन्ग विद फीफा एंड COA की, उन्होंने 11 या 12 डिमांड्स मांगी थी अपनी। उसमें से सारी की सारी डिमांड्स 11 डिमांड्स मान ली थी एक्सेप्ट एक डिमांड जिसमें वो उन्होंने मांगा था कि प्रफुल्ल पटेल जो कि 12 साल से ऑलरेडी प्रेसिडेंट थे और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनको हटाया था बिकॉज 2 साल से उन्होंने AIFF में इलेक्शंस ही नहीं कराई थी और ऐसे ही बैठे हुए थे और इसीलिए बिकॉज ही वाज एन अनडेमोक्रेटिकली इलेक्टेड प्रेसिडेंट ही वाज रिमूव्ड.
The Supreme Court's involvement and the Supreme Court attempting to reform Indian Football Federation, and so there are a number of questions we want to pose them to Praful Patel, but he is not forthcoming at this point in time. But most certainly Indian football is at a precipice and the questions need to be answered and this ban needs to be overturned.
All eyes are now on the Supreme Court hearing on the matter and the subsequent FIFA decision. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now in this entire fiasco, of course, on one hand, Praful Patel's role is under the scanner and storm, of course, grows over the FIFA ban scandal. We have seen various reactions coming in. We also saw Baichung Bhutia talk about, the scandal as well yesterday. But right now, the focus is on the fact that Praful Patel's role is under scanner in the FIFA ban scandal. For more information on this, we're joined in by Sandeep Singh. Sandeep, what can you tell us the latest on this? We've been seeing a lot of developments since yesterday, but what next for Praful Patel? He has not reacted as yet. We did see that audio clip as well, but like we said in that report as well, we haven't confirmed as yet on Republic if that is his voice. But on the other hand, what can we expect today as well in this particular story?
Yes, as far as FIFA and FIFA and the ban is concerned on under 17 World Cup of football, it is very much crucial to see what kind of decisions will be taken by the Supreme Court as the ban has been imposed by FIFA. Whether Supreme Court will be taking any kind of decision or any kind of coercive action has been taken by Supreme Court or not. But yes, at this point of time, I'm right outside the residence of Praful Patel. This is CJ House located in Worli, and in fact, he resides here. And we tried connecting to Mr. Praful Patel to get his words, his comment in regards of the ban that has been imposed on AIFF. And in fact, it is not just a ban on AIFF, it is a ban on the careers of the football aspirants, the players who were supposed to play the World Cup. And in fact, I am just calling right now. I would request my VJ, Mr. Kanti Parmar, to roll out here. I'm trying to call Mr. Praful Patel to get his reaction. Now, we just tried connecting Mr. Patel. He has just hung up the call. We'll try to call him again.
The number you have
dialed
is currently busy.
Patel.
Please try later.
So Republic TV is trying to connect again and again to get the first comment of Mr. Praful Patel in regards of the action that has been taken by FIFA, and in fact the careers of the young players who were supposed to represent India on international panel is on stake. And in fact, no words as of now from Praful Patel. And at this point of time, we are right outside at his residence. We tried connecting to Mr. Patel also, but so far we haven't got any kind of reaction. We'll try to speak to the people who are here guarding his residence. We'll try to speak to them. Praful Patel साहब से मिलना है. प्रफुल्ल पटेल साहब से वो है बॉम्बे में है, बाहर है वो है क्या यहाँ? So you just saw that we just tried getting information whether he is there or not, but yes, we are not allowed in there. We are not in fact Mr. Patel is not even taking the calls of us, and in fact no reaction has been given on this major issue. Remember how important it is for the players who prepared, who worked very hard for the World Cup. And in fact now, as the FIFA has imposed a ban on AIFF, the players' careers is on stake. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Sandeep, for joining us with those details. Of course, it is a huge setback for all these players because they were prepping for the Under-17 Women's World Cup 2022. Now, we will continue tracking the story on Republic, but moving on to some other news. In a major setback to the Congress, the decision to change the guard in Jammu and Kashmir has met with opposition. Ghulam Nabi Azad is reported to have refused to take up new posting as chairman of the campaign committee. We get you the latest developments.
Hours after being appointed as the chairman of the campaign committee, Ghulam Nabi Azad has reportedly resigned from his position. We have learnt that Ghulam Nabi Azad was not taken into confidence over constitution of other committees. According to reports, Congress President Sonia Gandhi appointed Ghulam Nabi Azad's key man Viqar Rasulwani as the new Jammu and Kashmir Pradesh Congress Committee chief amid mounting pressure from the Azad camp. Congress appointed Ghulam Nabi Azad as the chairman of the campaign committee and also put him in the Political Affairs Committee, while appointing Tariq Hamid Kara as chairman of the Political Affairs Committee and vice chairman of the campaign committee. Congress is reportedly tight-lipped over Ghulam Nabi Azad's decision to resign as the chairman of the campaign committee. He was part of the G23 leaders that have been pressing for reform in the Congress party and recently came to Sonia's defense, condemning the ED for subjecting her to interrogation in the Herald case. With the Congress party's decision to change its guard in the Jammu and Kashmir unit,
पार्टी के लिए रात दिन कोशिश करेंगे, जी जान तोड़ेंगे, पूरा जान लगा देंगे पार्टी के लिए, लोगों के लिए जो इस वक्त बेरोजगारी स्टेट में है उसके लिए लड़ेंगे, जो महंगाई है उसके लिए लड़ेंगे.
It now faces rebellion with former Sopore MLA Haji Abdul Rashid Dar resigning from the basic membership of the AICC. According to sources, he was miffed for being ignored for any post. Former MLA Muhammad Amin Butt has also resigned from the Coordination Committee, and sources say in the next 24 hours more resignations are likely to follow. With Ghulam Nabi Azad showing Congress the door, it remains to be seen how the Congress puts its house in order in Jammu and Kashmir. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
We have some breaking news coming in. 6 found dead in Sidra area of Jammu. Police teams have rushed to the spot. Now, as per the initial investigation, it seems to be a case of suicide by consuming poison. The police have stated that every angle is being probed. We're trying to get more details on the story, but as of now, the breaking is that 6 people have been found dead in a house. As per the initial investigation, it seems to be a case of suicide by consuming poison. Now, it is being reported that the doors of the house were closed inside. For more information on this, we're joined in by Gursimran. Gursimran, we're understanding right now that as per the initial investigation, it seems to be a case of suicide by consuming poison. But what more can you tell us in this tragic incident?
So see, this is the incident of at around 10 last evening when the police got a call, and after which the police teams were sent to this very area. This is the house from where 4 bodies have been recovered. From 2 houses, 6 bodies have been recovered, and they have died under the suspicious conditions. We are getting to know that the police is yet to ascertain the cause of this incident, but when the police came, they saw that this house was locked from outside, and then they broke this lock from outside. The vehicle is parked inside, and 4 dead bodies were inside this house, while 2 bodies were on the other side of this house. The police officials, they reached the spot and they ascertained. Sir, ये वाक़ा कितने बजे का है कल रात का? 9:30 तो ये लोग कहाँ के रहने वाले थे?
ये लोग एक श्रीनगर का, तो बाकी 5
डोडा के हैं. कुछ पता चल पाया क्या हुआ था, क्या कारण? इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रही है. On the 6 bodies were found from area. This is the Sidra area, and now the Jammu and Kashmir police is looking into it. Even the senior officials, including the SSP and the DIG of the Jammu Kathua Samba range, they themselves were here. They did form a committee, a special team to look into the matter, what has happened, and now the investigation is going on. But these 6 deaths have shocked the entire Jammu city, that have happened under the suspicious circumstances, and now the police is looking into every possible angle that what led to this unfortunate incident that has taken away 6 lives. Now police is also trying to find out who were the people who were here.
Well, thank you, Gursimran, for getting us those details. This is the breaking that we had, that 6 found in dead in Sidra area of Jammu. Now, the police are investigating every possible angle to find out what really led to this tragic incident that has taken place in Jammu. Now, as Gursimran said, 4 bodies were found inside the house, and whereas 2 were found outside, as well as the police are trying to investigate every particular angle.
This is not a normal incident. 6 bodies have been found in the same area. What were their linkages? What led to this unfortunate incident? Whether this was a conspiracy or what it was, the police is looking into every possible angle, and we are getting to know that soon a special investigation team too will be found by the Jammu police that will look into the matter and will submit the report in a time-bound manner.
Okay, this was Gursimran getting us details about the incident from Sidra, where 6 have been found dead and police are investigating every particular angle.
Supreme Court to hear the application filed by the players in regards of reconducting the elections. The crucial update on FIFA and AIFF will be keeping you updated after this break.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the recently released Times of India B-School 2022 rankings. A testimony to Amity BBA's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Today there has been a national embarrassment completely avoidable. The All India Football Federation has been suspended by FIFA. What this means is that India's football community, India's players, our football stars, our aspirants, our future talent, they've all been excluded as members of the global football body. And this has been completely unnecessary. And that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. The Under-17 Women's World Cup football tournament, which was due to happen in India in October, has been called off. It will still happen, but presumably it will not happen in India because India has been stripped of the rights to host the Under-17 Women's World Cup. And why is this happening, viewers? There are allegations today that this has happened because Praful Patel has instigated it. There is one group which is saying that once Praful Patel finished his term and had to go as president of the All India Football Federation, he remains a member of FIFA, and as a FIFA member, he instigated FIFA after giving up his post as head of the All India Football Federation. And as a result of all the infighting, ladies and gentlemen, as a result of all the infighting, the sum total of all of this is that Indian football...
The police person right now taking part in a flag march.
You can see the bulldozer enter in the society. That's the bulldozer.
भारत और ओमान के बीच संयुक्त सैन्य अभ्यास जो है वो किया जा रहा है।
एक बार फिर जो है कश्मीरी पंडित समुदाय को निशाना बनाया गया है।
Top headlines at 8:30. Massive manhunt launched. Forces bust the terror hideout of Adilwani. Terrorists behind Shopian killing. Massive protests erupt in Budgam after targeted killing of Kashmiri Pandit in J&K's Shopian. Massive protests erupt in Budgam after targeted killing of Kashmiri Pandit in J&K's Shopian. Storm over FIFA scandal top court to hear the matter today. Three fresh resignations of Congress leaders after Azad quits as chairman of the campaign committee. Top Mamta man Anubrata Mondal under arrest, sources say CBI took his daughter today. Mortal remains found 38 years later. Last rites of Lance Naik martyred in Operation Meghdoot today in Haldwani. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching This Morning and I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Now the BJP has launched a new social media campaign titled Desh Ki Badli Soch to target Prime Minister from the Congress, where the campaign compares Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day speeches to that of 10 Prime Ministers from the Congress.
इस साल के लिए हमें उस 5 पंच प्राण पर अपनी शक्ति को केंद्रित करनी होगी.
With that powerful speech, the Prime Minister laid his vision for the nation for 2047 with his Panch Pran. Following that 83-minute address, on Tuesday, the BJP launched a new social media campaign titled Desh Ki Badli Soch. The BJP is firing squarely at the Congress party with the campaign intended to compare Independence Day speeches with those of his Congress predecessors. From his Independence Day speech in 2021, where he inspired youth to go out there and achieve their goals.
मेरा विश्वास है मेरे देश के युवाओं पर, मेरा विश्वास है देश की बहनों पर, देश की बेटियों पर, देश के किसानों पर, देश के प्रोफेशनल्स पर. ये कैन डू जनरेशन है, कैन डू जनरेशन है. ये हर लक्ष्य हासिल कर सकती है.
To the speech in 2020, where he paid tribute to all our brave jawans who laid down their lives to protect the nation.
मैं आज मातृभूमि पर न्योछावर उन सभी वीर जवानों को लाल किले की प्राचीर से आदरपूर्वक नमन करता हूं.
From paying tribute to our jawans, to inspiring our youth, to calling India a guiding force for the world, the BJP says Prime Minister Modi's speeches are in stark contrast to those given by previous Prime Ministers, specifically from the Congress party. The campaign was launched just a day after Congress President Sonia Gandhi claimed that a self-obsessed government is hell-bent on trivializing the sacrifices of our freedom fighters. The BJP is also said to hold multiple news conferences over the day as part of the campaign. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, fresh wave of protests have broken out across J&K over another targeted killing in J&K, making it the 4th such murder in last 3 months alone. Meanwhile, Kashmiri Hindus are now demanding an all-out action against the terrorists.
From the protests in Srinagar to the road roko protest in Budgam, there is palpable anger in the Kashmir Valley over the killing of yet another Pandit. Sunil Kumar was shot dead by terrorists in an orchard in Shopian. His brother was also fired upon and he's still battling for his life.
The terrorists of Al-Badr carried target killing, and this time they targeted the Kashmiri Pandit brothers who were working here in this orchard at this spot when they fired upon these Pandit brothers from a close range. And what we found, what the terrorists left, they left the bullet cartridge, and as per the police sources, this weapon, the weapon that has been used by the terrorists is AK-47.
Not just in the Kashmir Valley, but protests also broke out in Jammu over the latest incident of targeted killing.
सर बस मांग तो हमारी पहले दिन से यही है कि हमारे लिए गवर्नमेंट जो है ट्रांसफ़र पॉलिसी बनाए, और जिस समय जो वहाँ हालात इस समय बने हुए हैं कि टारगेट किलिंग हो रही है, क्योंकि टारगेट किलिंग ये तो किसी से छुपी नहीं है, आए दिन वहाँ पर किलिंग हो रही है, ये हम नहीं कह सकते हैं कि बीच में हालात ठीक हो गए थे.
This is the fourth incident of targeted killings in the last 3 months alone. The minorities in the Kashmir Valley are demanding action. They say it's now or never.
The incidents of targeted killing in Kashmir are refusing to die down. This time, it's two brothers who were targeted in Chotipura village of Shopia in South Kashmir. Sunil, the elder one, passing away even as Pintu, the younger one, is struggling for his life in a hospital in Anantnag. What is important is that despite all the claims that a clampdown is happening on these episodes, these keep happening with regularity. In the month of May, it was Rahul Bhatt, and before that, 2 teachers in a school in Srinagar. The government believes that their crackdown on terror is yielding results, and that these episodes indicate towards an element of frustration building up among the terrorists and their Pakistan backers.
हाँ, हम तो चाहते थे, मैं तो पहले भी बोलती आ रही हूँ, किसी और के साथ होना नहीं चाहिए, मगर वो कर रहे हैं, तो इसके लिए तो ज़रूर कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा अब, क्योंकि कल से ये दूसरी की तीसरी वारदात है, तो इसके लिए तो ज़रूर सोचना पड़ेगा अब गवर्नमेंट को.
The targeted killing of another Kashmiri Pandit has sparked a fresh wave of protests across the Union Territory, with more protests set to take place today. But with the spate of targeted killings in the valley, it's clear that it is time for all-out action against terror. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, a massive controversy has entailed a leaked audio tape of Karnataka Minister J.C. Madhuswamy, in which he can be heard speaking against the state government. Here's how the controversy has shaped so far. Karnataka Law and Parliamentary Affairs Minister J.C. Madhuswamy's viral audio tape has caused massive embarrassment to the state government. In the viral tape, the minister can be heard saying that the Karnataka government is not functioning but is somehow managing in the state.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರಿನ್ಯೂವಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 1300 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನವರೇ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವರೇ ಫುಲ್ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ 1300 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೇ.
ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್,
ಎಲ್ಲ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಸರ್,
ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ತಿಂತಾವ್ರೆ, ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತಾವ್ರೆ, ಅದ್ರೂ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಾವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್,
ಅವ್ರೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ಜರುಗಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ.
And even later, the minister did not deny the massive claim that he made in the tape. However, he said that he was responding to a provocation and was ready to resign over the same.
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಡಿಯೋನ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳದ್ನಪ್ಪ, ಆದರೂ ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಇನ್ಯಾವ ಮಾತು ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಾತಾಡಿರೋ ನಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಭಾಳ ದಿವಸದ ಯಾವತ್ತಿಂದ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಇದು. ಈ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ. ಅವ್ರು ಅಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಮರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರೊವೊಕೇಶನ್ನು ಅವನೇನು ಅಂದಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯೆ, ಹೂಕೊಂಬಿಡಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೀತಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊ ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ನು ಯಾವ್ದು ಎಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನೋ ಯಾವ್ದು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೋ ನನಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತೇಳ್ರಿ.
The Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai has responded to the tape, saying that Madhuswamy's statement was taken out of context.
ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ತಪ್ಪರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಆ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ, ಏನೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
But the Congress has now called out BJP state administration and internal conflicts after the tape has surfaced.
Today there is no governance in Karnataka. All these ministers are only involved in looting the public exchequer, and that has become an open issue. This 40% commission is an open issue. Every office, every government office, you see, people are just, officers are not bothered. They are harassing the people, and people are paying the price. For these ministers, what Mr. Madhuswamy spoke informally is actually the truth.
While the minister offers to resign, it remains to be seen whether this faux pas could affect the BJP in the run-up to the Karnataka elections. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, on to more breaking news coming in. This one from Bihar, where a mega controversy has erupted over convicted ex-MP and RJD leader Anand Mohan. Is what we understand as of now is that the DSP of Saharsa has in fact said that the convicted politician visited the RJD office in Khagadia on 13th of August, and this while he was en route to the Saharsa jail. So controversy that has erupted over ex-MP and convict Anand Mohan. The DSP now clarifying that the convicted politician visited the RJD office in Khagadia on 13th of August while he was en route the Saharsa jail is what we understand as of now. So after Patna, while on way to Saharsa, Anand Mohan stayed in Khagadia Government Circuit House for a night. The rooms were booked in his son's name, who is the RJD MLA himself. Next morning, Anand Mohan was taken to the Saharsa jail. In fact, Republic also spoke to Ashok, who's one of the workers in the Khagadia Circuit House, saying, confirming that Anand Mohan had indeed come on the 12th night at that place when two rooms that were also booked in the name of his MLA's son. He stayed in they stayed in two rooms that were initially booked. So revelations coming in, and that is the DSP report that has been accessed by Republic. We'll go across to Prakash as well to get us more details on this. So what we understand as of now is that the details of this report that has been released, which says that there were indeed two rooms booked. We have Prakash joining us live. Prakash, take us through the details of the DSP report that has been accessed.
Well, after we got the photographs of Anand Mohan and his son Chetan Anand and wife Lovely Anand's pictures at his Patna residence, instead of going to Bior jail, he was... please fix the audio, please. And after he visited his residence in Patna, voice is getting back to me. Echo ho raha hai yaar.
Prakash again. So Prakash getting us that story from Bihar, the revelations that have been made in this DSP report that has been accessed by Republic. The visuals also went viral of Anand Mohan, where he was seen being given a VVIP treatment. What we understand is that Anand Mohan visited the RJD office in Khagadia district on 13th of August morning. On 12th of August, Anand Mohan took rest for 2 hours at one of his supporters placed at Mursigharari while on his way to Saharsa jail. In fact, just a day prior to that, on 11th of August at around 3 p.m, Anand Mohan visited his residence in Patna and stayed there the whole night. So the visuals also that Republic has been showing to you of the jailed RJD leader Anand Mohan. Prakash is joining us for more details. Prakash, give us all the latest details you're picking up. Yes, Prakash, we can hear you. Please go ahead. All right, we seem to have a trouble connecting with Prakash, but that is the report also that we are putting out by the DSP of the area of Saharsa, who has given this information regarding the visuals of, in fact, the visuals of Anand Mohan that also went viral, in which he was seen being given a VVIP treatment. Well, I'm told Prakash is back with us. Prakash, give us all the details that you're picking up with respect to this revelation that has been made in the DSP report.
Well, when we got the pictures of Anand Mohan, who is a convict in the murder case of IS officer G. Krishnaiah, and he was supposed to be produced in the court in Patna, and thereafter he instead of going to Beur jail, he forcefully went to his Patna residence, got pictures clicked, we put it on air on television. And after that, we also showed to the viewers how he spent a night in a government circuit house in Khagaria. And that was confessed by the caretaker of the concerned government circuit house in Khagaria. But not only this, in the revelations of the DSP's report, it has come out that he also visited the RJD office the next day on 13 before going en route to Saharsa jail. So this is violation of rules and regulations, and this goes to show that once the RJD government is in power, he can break the rules at his own will. And he visited the RJD office, and the allegations of Jungle Raj being put in by the BJP leader Sushil Modi that RJD is in power and now Jungle Raj exists in Bihar, and this is just a trailer. This is a glaring example of how Jungle Raj used to be in 2005 when Lalu Rabri era was there. So this is not surprising. This has started happening in Bihar, and the rule of law which was once the USP of Nitish Kumar, has taken a beating now, it seems, and this kind of news will pour in day out as alleged by the BJP leader.
All right, Prakash, we leave it at that. So Prakash is getting us details and telling us that how this seems to be a trailer when we talk about the Mahagathbandhan 2.0, which has now come to power in the state of Bihar. Slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you more details and more news breaks that is making news. A very short break. On the other side, massive manhunt launched. Forces bust the terror hideout of Adalwani, the terrorist behind Shopian killing. Top Mamta man Anubrata Mondal under arrest. Sources say CBI took away his daughter today.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the recently released Times of India B School 2022 rankings, a testimony to Amity BBA's globally benchmarked standards in education.
The FIFA ban that has come shockingly, surprisingly today on hosting the Under-17 World Cup that was to be held in India in 3 cities in October. They're talking about the Supreme Court that tried to solve the muck in the All India Football Federation by saying there needs to be a committee overseeing whatever's happening here.
Look at the entire situation. The police has now imposed section 144 and there is a ban on large gatherings for the next 3 days.
Already 4 persons were involved in this stabbing incident yesterday of Prem Singh. So they have been secured. So one person, Zabiullah, he has been secured after opening, taking some action against him, and now we are going to take them into police custody and question them.
The AIFF personnel are now taking out this march there in Shiv Moga district. Instructions are also being issued to the people not to take part in any kind of large gatherings. And the AIFF personnel, along with ADGP Law and Order Alok Kumar, they are seen marching here in the very vicinity, the very lane where the unfortunate incident of stabbing had basically taken place. Kashmir police has gone on record to confirm terrorists fired upon civilians in an apple orchard in Chotipura area of Shopian. One person has been killed, another injured. Both belong to a minority community. Kashmiri Pandits once again are coming under attack.
The multiple cordon and search operation launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police with army so that to nab or neutralize the terrorists behind.
And breaking news updates coming in from J&K. Trouble only mounting there for the J&K Congress as infighting in the J&K Congress sees no end and is now out in the open. In fact, now Congress leader Ashwani Handa has responded to Ghulam Nabi Azad, who's now quit as a Congress campaign committee chief, saying Ashwani Handa there reacting to Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit, saying that the correct message is not reaching the top brass of the Congress and that more resignations could follow. So that's the statement coming in from Ashwani Handa, saying that after Ghulam Nabi Azad, there could be more resignations and that Ghulam Nabi Azad's consent was not taken. In fact, we have that reaction bite as well coming in from Ashwani Handa. Let's listen it.
हमें लगता है कि अगर इस पे फिर से गौर नहीं किया गया इस कमेटी पे तो और बहुत सारे रिजाइन हो सकते हैं और बहुत सारे ऐसे नेता हैं जो पार्टी छोड़ सकते हैं, क्योंकि हर किसी को लगता है कि उनकी अनदेखी की गई है, जो उनका एक्सपीरियंस है, जो उन्होंने पार्टी के लिए अपना योगदान दिया है, उसको कहीं ना कहीं नकारा गया है और उन लोगों को तरजीह दी गई है जो ऐसे लोग आज पार्टी के हाई ओहदे पे बैठे हुए हैं, जिनकी नज़दीकियां उनसे ज़्यादा हैं। सबसे ज़्यादा जो हमारी नाराज़गी है वो इसी बात को लेकर है कि पार्टी में इनडिसिप्लिन क्रिएट हो रहा है और जिसकी वजह से पार्टी दिन ब दिन जो है वो उस लोग छोड़ रहे हैं उसको, और हमारी हाई कमान से ये डिमांड है कि इस पे फिर से गौर किया जाए और जो एक्सपीरियंस्ड लोग हैं जिन्होंने पार्टी के लिए अपना योगदान दिया है उनको तरजीह दी जाए। नहीं तो आप देखेंगे आज के ही दिन बहुत सारे ऐसे बड़े नेता हैं जो पार्टी छोड़ जाएंगे।
So Ashwani Handa there saying that more resignations could follow after Ghulam Nabi Azad. Remember, Ghulam Nabi Azad stepped down from the post of the chairman of the party's campaign committee just shortly after his appointment. A very short break. Lots on the other side. Massive protests erupt in Budgam after targeted killing of Kashmiri Pandit in J&K Shopian. And storm over a FIFA scandal, top court to hear the matter today.
Entire situation, the police has now imposed section 144 and there is a ban on large gatherings for the next 3 days.
Already 4 persons were involved in this stabbing incident yesterday of Prem Singh, so they have been secured. So one person, Jabiullah, he has been secured after opening, taking some action against him, and now we are going to take them into police custody and question them.
The AIFFs are now taking out this march there in Shiv-Moga district. Instructions are also being issued to the people not to take part in any kind of large gatherings. And the AIFFs along with ADGP Law and Order, Alok Kumar, they are seen marching here in the very vicinity, in the very lane where the unfortunate incident of stabbing had basically taken place. Kashmir police has gone on record to confirm terrorists fired upon civilians in an apple orchard in Chotipura area of Shopian. One person has been killed, another injured. Both belong to a minority community. Kashmiri Pandits once again are coming under attack.
The multiple cordon and search operation launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police with army so that to nab or neutralize the terrorists behind.
I just want to ask you people, to the BJP people and the local administration, more than 20 times in this 2022 they are already imposed 144 section. Is this a way to treat the people?
The FIFA ban that has come shockingly, surprisingly today on hosting the Under-17 World Cup that was to be held in India in 3 cities in October. They're talking about the Supreme Court that tried to solve the muck in the All India Football Federation by saying there needs to be a committee overseeing whatever's happening here.
Looking at the entire situation, the police has now imposed section 144 and there is a ban on large gatherings for the next 3 days.
Already 4 persons were involved in this.
Quick roundup from across the globe. 3 passengers suffered serious burns after they tried to pass through an area hit by fierce wildfire in Spain's Castellón region. Ukraine and Poland reopened one of the busiest border crossings between them after it was shut down to upgrade the facility and increase its capacity. UN spokesperson announced that Secretary General Antonio Guterres will be in Kiev to meet Turkish President and the Ukrainian President Zelensky. The chief is also scheduled to visit Odessa and Istanbul to see one of the ports involved in Black Sea grain initiative.
The Congress party in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir seems to be in shambles as the leaders, including Ghulam Nabi Azad and his loyalists, have decided to resign from the committees they have been named, terming that they were not taken into the confidence, and the embarrassment for the Congress party is growing with more and more resignations. For more, stay tuned to Republic TV right after this short break.
The AIFFs are now taking out this march there in Srinagar district. Instructions are also being issued to the people not to take part in any kind of large gatherings. And the AIFFs, along with ADGP Law and Order Alok Kumar, they are seen marching here in the very vicinity, in the very lane where the unfortunate incident of stabbing had basically taken place. Kashmir police has gone on record to confirm terrorists fired upon civilians in an apple orchard in Chotipura area of Shopian. One person has been killed, another injured. Both belong to a minority community. Kashmiri Pandits once again are coming under attack.
The multiple coordinate search operation launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police with army so that to nab or neutralize the terrorists behind.
I just want to ask you people, to the BJP people and the local administration, more than 20 times in this 2022 they are already imposed 144 section. Is this a way to treat the people?
The FIFA ban that has come shockingly, surprisingly today on hosting the Under-17 World Cup that was to be held in India in 3 cities in October. They're talking about the Supreme Court that tried to solve the muck in the All India Football Federation by saying there needs to be a committee overseeing whatever's happening here.
Looking at the entire situation, the police has now imposed section 144 and there is a ban on large gatherings for the next 3 days.
Already 4 persons were involved in this stabbing incident yesterday of Prem Singh. So they have been secured. So one person, Zabiullah, he has been secured after opening, taking some action against him, and now we are going to take them into police custody and question them.
The AIFFs are now taking out this march there in Srinagar district. Instructions are also being ADGP Law and Order Alok Kumar, they are seen marching here.
headlines this morning. Massive manhunt launched. Forces bust terror hideout of Adil Wani, the terrorist behind Shopian killing. Storm over FIFA scandal. Top court to hear the matter today. 3 fresh resignations of Congress leaders after Azad quits as chairman of campaign committee. Congress leader Ashwani Handa says more resignations likely soon in Congress J&K committee. More trouble for top Mamta man Anubrata Mondal. Sources say CBI to quiz daughter today. Mortal remains found 38 years later. Last rites of Lance Naik martyred in Operation Meghdoot today in Haldwani. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. This morning, I'm Samiksha Srivastava. We are live and breaking, starting with our top story this morning. And the international governing body of Association Football, FIFA, has announced that the All India Football Federation has been suspended with immediate effect. Informing the reason for the suspension, FIFA said that undue influence on the Indian football governing body from third parties constitutes a serious violation of the status provided by FIFA. With suspension, India has now lost the rights to host the upcoming FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup while suffering several other consequences as well. This has now reached the top court of India, and the biggest hearing on the fate of the Indian football will take place today. Here's a report.
After the FIFA suspension of the AIFF, the central government filed for an urgent hearing in the Supreme Court. And the top court is all set to take up the matter for hearing today.
After going through the letter, we saw that a statement was issued by FIFA to Indian Federation, and they said that we are first warning you, and then they have suspended all the activities that are happening and are to happen in India, which is the Under-17 Women's World Cup. This is one aspect of it. The second aspect is we've spoken to sources within the committee of administrators that has released a statement about how they are shocked with the actions of FIFA despite doing everything FIFA said. A third news that we've also gathered as we are speaking right now, Niranjan, is that the COA, extremely upset with the turn of events, has also said we are disappointed by all that has happened and we don't know why All India Football Federation has been suspended until further notice. They say we are surprised at the FIFA decision after extensive meetings and decisions were held.
The Apex Court will also be hearing the contempt petition by Committee of Administrators, former AIFF President Praful Patel, and the office bearers of 7 other state associations. In its previous order on the 3rd of August, the Supreme Court heard a plea by AIFF challenging the Delhi High Court order where it had called for polls to be held under the draft constitution. Supreme Court has taken numerous measures to clean up AIFF. FIFA has been citing undue influence as a reason to ban the Indian football governing body. The ban will have tremendous implications as India, which was scheduled to hold the Under-17 FIFA World Cup from the 11th to the 30th of October, now loses all its rights to host any tournaments. Now, all eyes are on the Supreme Court to see how the matter will progress. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Tracking closely all the updates coming in as the storm is only growing with respect to the ban by the FIFA with respect to India hosting the games in October this year. Praful Patel's role, remember, is under length even as the court hearing will take place today. Sandeep is reporting live from outside Praful Patel's residence. Sandeep, if you could tell us what can we expect in the hearing that is all set to take place in the top court today.
See, it will be very much Still to see whether the Supreme Court will be taking decisions in regards of demands of Government of India to appoint people from the former players, in fact from Indian football leagues or Indian football team. Whether any decision of elections in regard of AIFF will be taken or not, because at this point of time, COA, the Committee of Administration, is in fact ruling AIFF and citing the same reason the FIFA have qualified India, and in fact AIFF and as well who represent India in the international FIFA.
All right, we'll have a slight trouble in connecting with Sandeep, but important hearing that is all set to take place in the Supreme Court today. So remember, several questions that are arising at this point is whether Praful Patel instigate FIFA, whether Praful Patel put self before country is one of the few questions that are arising at this point, and if at all Praful Patel hurt Indian sport for self-interest. So the hearing that is all set to take place. Remember, a lot is at stake, and this of course has come, the decision by the FIFA has come as a big embarrassment as well for India, as India will not be able to host the U17 Women's World Cup 2022. Well, on to more news coming in. This one after a brutal incident of a 9-year-old Dalit boy succumbing to his injuries after being thrashed by his school teacher. There's a massive uproar against the state Congress party led by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot in the state of Rajasthan.
3 days ago, a 9-year-old Dalit boy, Indra Meghwal, lost his battle for life after being beaten by his school teacher. His crime? He touched a water filter used by the upper caste at his school in the Jalore district. While the teacher and key accused named Chail Singh has been arrested, there's a massive furor over the state Congress party over the killing on grounds of sheer caste-based discrimination. And in the latest setback to the party, 12 Congress councillors in the Rajasthan's Bahrain Municipal Council sent their resignation letters to Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, expressing anguish over the atrocities against Dalits.
Trouble mounting for Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan, again with many of his own leaders questioning the government on the issue of law and order. We have seen how one MLA has resigned and another has questioned the leadership of Ashok Gehlot as Chief Minister of Rajasthan post the Jalore incident in which a student lost his life after a teacher manhandled him. And since he belonged to the Dalit community, there is anger and rage among the Dalits.
The mass resignation also came as an extended support to MLA Panachand Meghwal, who resigned on Monday. Meanwhile, even Congress leader Sachin Pilot visited the family of the boy and called for zero tolerance to such incidents. He also called for immediate action over the family's allegation that the police subjected them to lathi charge the night they performed the last rites of the young child, naming the SDM and Deputy SM.
और खासकर ये समाज जो आज पिछड़ा है, दलित है, हर मान्य से दबाव में है, और यहाँ पर भी अभी भी इन्होंने चिंता जाहिर करी है मुझे कि इनको अपनी व्यक्तिगत सुरक्षा की, सरकार के काफी मंत्री यहाँ पर आए हैं, आश्वासन भी दिया है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि पुलिस और प्रशासन इनकी जान माल की सुरक्षा रखेगा।
Apex child rights body NCPCR also sought strict action by the Rajasthan's government against the perpetrators of the heinous killing of the innocent. And while the government is in the process of terminating the affiliation of the private school, the state Congress party still remains under flake over the incident.
बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत जल्दी कर देना चाहिए था, लेकिन संदेश जाना चाहिए कि इस प्रकार कोई दलित समाज का नौजवान अगर कहीं मूंछ रखता है, उसको मार दिया जाएगा, जैसे पाली जिले में हुआ। कोई दलित बच्चा है, उसकी अगर पिटाई होगी, उसकी जान चली जाएगी। इस प्रकार की व्यवस्थाओं को हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसको बदलना पड़ेगा।
While the investigation is underway, the state is shocked to witness the death of a 9-year-old for being a Dalit, after the nation celebrated 75 years of independence. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Meanwhile, a fresh wave of protests have broken out in J&K over yet another targeted killing to have happened in J&K, making it the fourth such murder in last 3 months alone. Kashmiri Hindus, meanwhile, are demanding an all-out action.
From the protests in Srinagar to the road roko protest in Budgam, there is palpable anger in the Kashmir Valley over the killing of yet another Pandit. Sunil Kumar was shot dead by terrorists in an orchard in Shopian. His brother was also fired upon and he's still battling for his life.
The terrorists of Al-Badr carried target killing, and this time they targeted the Kashmiri Pandit brothers who were working here in this orchard at this spot when they fired upon these Pandit brothers from a close range. And what we found, what the terrorists left, they left the bullet cartridge, and as per the police sources, this weapon, the weapon that has been used by the terrorists, is AK-47.
Not just in the Kashmir Valley, but protests also broke out in Jammu over the latest incident of targeted killing.
सर बस मांग तो हमारी पहले दिन से यही है कि हमारे लिए गवर्नमेंट जो है ट्रांसफ़र पॉलिसी बनाए, और जिस समय जो वहाँ हालात इस समय बने हुए हैं कि टारगेट किलिंग हो रही है, क्योंकि टारगेट किलिंग ये तो किसी से छुपी नहीं है, आए दिन वहाँ पर किलिंग हो रही है, ये हम नहीं कह सकते हैं कि बीच में हालात ठीक हो गए थे.
This is the fourth incident of targeted killings in the last 3 months alone. The minorities in the Kashmir Valley are demanding action. They say it's now or never.
The incidents of targeted killing in Kashmir are refusing to die down. This time, it's two brothers who were targeted in Chotipura village of Shopia in South Kashmir. Sunil, the elder one, passing away even as Pintu, the younger one, is struggling for his life in a hospital in Anantnag. What is important is that despite all the claims that a clampdown is happening on these episodes, these keep happening with regularity. In the month of May, it was Rahul Bhatt, and before that, 2 teachers in a school in Srinagar. The government believes that their crackdown on terror is yielding results, and that these episodes indicate towards an element of frustration building up among the terrorists and their Pakistan backers.
हाँ, हम तो चाहते थे, मैं तो पहले भी बोलती आ रही हूँ, किसी और के साथ होना नहीं चाहिए, मगर वो कर रहे हैं, तो इसके लिए तो ज़रूर कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा अब, क्योंकि कल से ये दूसरी की तीसरी वारदात है, तो इसके लिए तो ज़रूर सोचना पड़ेगा अब गवर्नमेंट को.
The targeted killing of another Kashmiri Pandit has sparked a fresh wave of protests across the Union Territory, with more protests set to take place today. But with the spate of targeted killings in the valley, it's clear that it is time for all-out action against terror. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And breaking news coming in, a tragic incident that has been reported from Ahmednagar-Pune highway in Pune. The incident, we are told, happened late last night, in which 5 members of a family lost their lives, whereas 1 was injured in a road accident that happened on the Ahmednagar-Pune highway in the Pune district. In fact, the accident occurred after a car collided with a container coming from it looks like a bulldozer that was coming from the wrong side. So that's the news coming in, the visuals on your screens as well. Sandeep getting us at the details of this tragic incident coming to light. Sandeep, give us the updates you're picking up.
So yes, 5 members from one family lost their lives.
So, in fact, the visuals on your screens as well of the tragic incident that happened on the Ahmednagar-Pune highway in Pune late last night. 5 members of a family, we are told, lost their lives, whereas 1 person is injured and getting treated. So, the road accident that has been reported from Pune late last night, and this incident happened after a car collided with a bulldozer. So that's the update coming in, this news coming in from Ahmednagar-Pune highway in Pune late last night, where a car, we are told, collided with a bulldozer that was allegedly coming from the wrong side. The container, in fact, we are told that the driver of this particular vehicle is absconding. So that's the update coming in with regard to this news coming in, where 5 people lost their lives, whereas 1 person was injured in this car, in this accident that happened in Pune district. And a quick roundup of news in brief. Congress has appointed Ghulam Nabi Azad loyalist Vicar Rasool Wani as the party's president in J&K. This after Ghulam Mir Azad tendered his resignation last month.
मुझे ये जिम्मेवारी दी गई, इंशाल्लाह कोशिश होगी मेरी कि उनकी उम्मीदों पे हम पूरा उतरे, स्टेट के लोगों की उम्मीदों पे हम पूरा उतरे, पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता जो हैं जिनको उम्मीदें होती हैं लीडरशिप पे, उस पे हम पूरा उतरे और पार्टी के लिए रात दिन कोशिश करेंगे, जी जान तोड़ेंगे, पूरा जान लगा देंगे पार्टी के लिए, लोगों के लिए.
Trouble is only mounting for J&K Congress. 2 more Congress leaders, Chaudhry Muhammad Akram and Gulzar Ahmad Wani, have resigned from newly formed committees. This after Ghulam Nabi Azad's resignation from the campaign committee of J&K Congress shortly after his appointment. Azad camp says that they weren't taken into confidence while finalizing other committees. As part of massive manhunt launched for the killers of Kashmiri Pandit Sunil Kumar, hideout of an active terrorist Adil Wani has now been busted by the State Forest Service officers in Shopian. CBI to most likely question Anubrata Mondal's daughter Sukanya Mondal in connection with a cattle smuggling case. According to sources, it is highly likely that the interrogation may take place today itself, as a team has already been moved to Bolpur in midnight. In the cattle smuggling case, the CBI has come across important information pertaining to role of Anubrata and his daughter with regard to amassing of properties amounting to crores of rupees. Leading milk suppliers Amul and Mother Dairy will increase milk prices by 2 rupees per litre starting today on account of rising input costs. This is in fact the second consecutive hike by Amul and Mother Dairy in nearly 6 months. In Odisha's Bhadrak district, normal life of people has now come to a standstill as floodwater from Baitarani river has inundated several residential areas. The DM of the area was quoted as saying that 3 blocks in Bhadrak district have been affected due to floodwaters. Meanwhile, 80,000 to 90,000 people have been affected in this area.
3 ब्लॉक में अभी पार्टली कुछ पंचायत में बाढ़ का स्थिति है. हमारा धामनगर ब्लॉक, भंडारी पोखरी ब्लॉक एवं चांदवाली ब्लॉक. तो उस हिसाब से प्रशासन की तरफ से सारे स्टेप्स लिए गए हैं कि जहां पे बोट डिप्लॉयमेंट हो, साइक्लोन जो शेल्टर सेफ शेल्टर आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो, ये सारा चीज़ें किया गया है. हमारे फील्ड फंक्शनरीज सारे जीपी जो कट ऑफ हुए हैं वहाँ पे है. कॉन्स्टेंटली हम पीआरआई मेंबर्स के टच में भी है. अराउंड हम बोल सकते हैं कि 80,000 टू 90,000 लोग अफेक्ट हुए हैं जितना वो जीपीज़ में रहते हैं. बट अभी तक पूरा स्मूथ सारी चीज़ें कैसे रहते हैं उसका प्रशासन इंश्योर कर रहा है.
In Madhya Pradesh, flood-like situation is being seen in low-lying areas of Narmadapuram district. The Narmada river has been overflowing due to heavy rainfall. Now let's take a look at the situation in Karnataka's Shivamoga and the political mudslinging over Savarkar Tipu clashes. Here's a report. Take a look.
Karnataka is on the boil after a youth was stabbed following clashes in Shivamoga. And the reason was because of a mega face-off over Veer Savarkar's portrait being erected, resulting in communal clashes, Tipu Sultan's poster replacing it and Section 144 being imposed in the area. After violent clashes in Shivamoga, Veer Savarkar's poster was torn by a group of people in Tumakuru city yesterday, with fears of similar situations panning out in other parts of Karnataka as well. While the police are trying to quell tensions, elsewhere it was nothing but political mudslinging. While Congress leader DK Shivakumar warned of a worsening situation earlier,
ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಧಾಕಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಪೊಲೀಸವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಕಾನೂನು ರೀತಿ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ, ವಿಡಿಯೋಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿದೆ.
It did not take the Congress seconds to politicize the situation, with Siddaramaya's logic being why was Veer Savarkar's portrait being installed in a Muslim-dominated area in the first place.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ದು ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಯಾವ ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬಟ್ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು? ಆಯ್ತು, ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ.
Siddaramaya's remark came in as a sharp attack to BJP leader K.S. Ishwarappa's comments.
ये मुसलमान लोगों में कौन सीनियर्स है, उसको मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, आपका यूथ राष्ट्रद्रोही काम वो कौन कर रहा है, उनके ऊपर आप उनको क्या बोलना बोलो, नहीं तो ये हिंदू समाज है और पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट है, उनको क्या हम सिखाना है, हम सीखेंगे, सिखाना है.
In the past as well, the Congress has tried to paint Savarkar in poor light.
भाजपा के पूर्वजों के देश तोड़ने के इरादे अभी रुके नहीं थे. 1937 में हिंदू महासभा का अध्यक्ष बनते ही सावरकर ने दो राष्ट्र के अपने इरादे यानी विभाजन के अपने कुटिल इरादे जाहिर कर दिए. उधर जिन्ना और मुस्लिम लीग तो हिंदुस्तान को तोड़ने की ताक में थे ही, और उनके विभाजन के सिद्धांत को सावरकर, श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी जैसे भाजपा के पूर्वजों का पुरजोर समर्थन भी मिल रहा था.
वीर सावरकर जी का जो योगदान रहा है भारत की स्वतंत्रता मूवमेंट में, वो कोई भी नकार नहीं सकता है. इंदिरा गांधी जी ने भी जब प्रधानमंत्री थी, उन्होंने उनका पोस्टल स्टैम्प जारी किया था, उन्होंने उनके ऊपर एक फिल्म बनाई थी और उनका पार्लियामेंट में एक बहुत ही बड़ी पोर्ट्रेट भी लगी हुई है. तो मैं मानती हूँ कि हर जन का योगदान होना चाहिए. किसी को बड़ा दिखाने में और किसी को छोटा दिखाने में जो आजकल काम हो रहा है, उससे हमें बचना चाहिए.
While police are conducting flag marches to maintain law and order, 4 accused have been arrested in connection with the Shivamoga violence, while 2 have been remanded to police custody for 2 days. 2 others are expected to be produced in court today.
Right now, it is situation is normal. After yesterday's incident, we have arrested all the 4 accused persons, and we are keeping a strict vigil, close vigil on the situation. And tonight also that will continue, and tomorrow also will continue.
As political mudslinging continues, the big question is why incite, divide and polarize, celebrating the contribution of Veer Savarkar? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And more breaking updates coming in from Karnataka over the Savarkar versus Tipu Sultan face-off. Congress in Udupi district now has requested the police and district administration to remove Savarkar's posters installed that were installed on the Independence Day. So face-off that has only intensified now, and the Congress seeking removal of the posters that were installed of VD Savarkar. So the big face-off that has erupted over Savarkar versus Tipu Sultan. Remember, there were violent clashes as well that were reported in Shivamoga. Piyush, they're reporting live from Shivamoga. Piyush, if you could give us more details. Congress now are demanding a removal of posters of Savarkar.
Well, absolutely, Samiksha, the face-off over the poster of Tipu Sultan and Veer Savarkar continues to take place in the state of Karnataka. What we are now learning is that now the Congress party has requested the administration there in Udupi to remove the posters of Veer Savarkar. Those were installed to celebrate the 75 years of independence. That's the demand which is now coming in from the Congress party. Remember that because of this face-off between the posters of Tipu Sultan and Veer Savarkar, we have seen how violence has taken place not only in Shivamogga but in different parts of Karnataka. Yesterday in Bhadravati also we were given to understand is that one Hindu activist was attacked because of this poster war only. If we talk about the Shivamogga incident, a person who was stabbed is continues to be there inside the hospital. He is being treated. 4 people in fact yesterday were arrested by the police and they have been sent to 2 days of police custody. The police is saying that there could be more people on this in this incident, and that is why they are extending their investigation. But we are seeing as to how the politics continues to take place on this entire issue. Now the Congress party is coming out and requesting to the administration there in Udupi to remove the posters of Veer Savarkar. Those were installed there in the district to mark the celebrations of Independence Day. Also yesterday, Siddaramaiah, top leader of the Congress party, had come out and made a statement on a Shivamogga incident where he had asked the government as to why to put the posters of Veer Savarkar in a Muslim-dominated area. Why not the poster of Tipu Sultan? So the politics continues to take place. The government is saying that it will ensure that no untoward incident takes place, and that is why Section 144 continues to be in place in the district Shivamogga. I am right now present here in Shivamogga, and let me try to show you pictures in and around me. You can see how there is a bit a relaxation given by the administration, and because of this relaxation, we are now seeing a good traffic movement here in the district. But Section 144 will be in place, and still, as we are speaking, the police has said that there should be complete ban on large gatherings. Traffic vehicular movements have been allowed to take place. Shops have also been allowed to open today, looking at the controlled situation. But police does not want to take any kind of chance, and that is why there is still a ban on large gatherings in the district. We'll have to wait and watch how things are further going to take place, or what is going to happen in coming few days. But police is of the view that so far the situation is under control. Yesterday we also saw the pictures coming in of the police officers and paramilitary forces taking out flag march in Shivamogga district. But on the other side, politics continues to take place where Congress continues to politicize, and now they have requested the administration there in Udupi to remove the posters of Veer Savarkar. Those were installed for Independence Day celebrations.
Yes, Piyush, briefly, if you could also talk to us about more reactions coming in. We understand that DK Shivakumar has also responded and made some controversial remarks as well regarding this incident. If you could take us through the details.
Well, yes, not only Siddaramaiah, but also another top leader of Congress party, DK Shivakumar, has also reacted on this and has slammed the government over the kind of incidents those are taking place not only in Shivamogga but also in Bhadravati, in Tumkur, in other parts of Karnataka. On the other side, BJP maintains that situation is now under control. But it started simmering. Samiksha, you would remember that whole protest started simmering after the kind of advertisement which was released by the BJP government, where it had omitted the name of Jawaharlal Nehru, and the posters of Veer Savarkar were there in that particular advertisement of Har Ghar Tiranga. Since then, we saw how things started getting heated, started getting tensed in Karnataka. Also, if we talk about the incident which took place on August 14 in a mall, a poster was torn by SDPI activists in Shivamogga, and that poster was of Veer Savarkar. After that, the gathering took place here in Shivamogga, there Ahmed Mir roundabout, and then we saw clashes took place where a man was unfortunately stabbed. So politics on this entire issue continues to take place. Similar incidents have been reported from different parts of Karnataka. Congress party is now slamming the government, be it DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah. BJP continues to maintain that the situation is now under control, and BJP, we have seen since beginning, eulogizing the achievements of Veer Savarkar, and we have seen how there has been politics going on the issue of Veer Savarkar and Tipu Sultan for the last many years, and this has been a central topic of politics here in the state of Karnataka, and now which has led to violence events also taking place in Shivamogga, in Bhadravati, and also in other parts of Karnataka. We'll have to wait and watch how things are going to pan out in coming few days. But if you talk about Shivamogga's condition, it is right now under control. Situation is now under control. Police is saying that they have arrested 4 people. All of them have been sent to 2 days police custody, and the further investigation will take place in this entire case.
Yes, Piyush, and yesterday we saw how the police was also the personnel who was seen conducting a flag march in Shivamogga. Is anything planned for today as well to prevent the situation, to ensure that the situation remains at ease and tension does not simmer in the area?
Well, if you talk about the police's flag march, today it is going to take place in Bhadravati. And if we specifically talk about the incident took place in Bhadravati, a Hindu activist was yesterday attacked and he also faced serious injuries because of that particular attack. And this also took place because of the face-off over Tipu Sultan versus Veer Savarkar's posters there in Shivamogga and in other parts of Karnataka. What we are given to understand is that after yesterday's attack, the police had stepped up its vigil and deployment was done there in many parts of Bhadravati. So today the flag march is also to be taken out in Bhadravati, which is very much near to Shivamogga, and that flag march is scheduled at 10:30. Most likely it will begin by 10:45, and that will once again be done to instill a sense of confidence, to instill a sense of security among the law keepers, among the people who follow law, and at the same time a message to the people who wants to take law in their hands. So that's why yesterday a flag march was taken out, not once but twice, yesterday in the morning at around 11 and then in the evening at 5 p.m. So police continues to maintain vigil, continues to tell to people to remain inside the house.
Across to Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP spokesperson, Gaurav Bhatia, who's joining us on the phone line. Mr. Bhatia, when we talk about the situation in Karnataka, well, disruption of normal life to be sure. However, we see that right now the government and the police and authorities seem to be in full control. How do you look at the way the entire situation erupted there?
It's a revelation that is shocking for the reason it seems that Congress party and its workers have a very sinister design for the country and the state of Karnataka. They are disrespecting national heroes. And in doing that, they are also taking away the right of every citizen to express their own opinion. Congress party has turned into a tango in other people, and they break laws with impunity. I think this is the problem of Congress party. This will not be tolerated. And
well, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP, well, slamming the Congress and all those who have politicized the issue of right just before these clashes. We had seen that it all started off with a poster face-off in Udupi. Our correspondent Piyush there on the ground covering the story. And a fresh update on freebie face-off politics. DMK has moved an impleachment motion notice before the Supreme Court, asking to be made a respondent to a plea seeking that political parties be prohibited from promising freebies during election campaigns. DMK has also challenged the definition of freebies in its application. So reports coming in of the DMK stand on freebies. It has put in an application in the court in this regard, asking for a proper definition of freebies and much more. And it's an impleachment motion that is in the Supreme Court, filed by the DMK, seeking a definition of what freebies means. So the DMK moves the Supreme Court. This fresh updates on freebie face-off politics. The DMK has moved
an impleadment motion notice before the Supreme Court. Varshini to tell us all about it. Varshini, what can you tell us about the DMK moving the Supreme Court now? Give us the details of the impleadment motion that it has presented.
Well, the Vladimir party has now joined the Madhya party in this fight for this freebies. They want to make a statement in this matter in the Supreme Court about this freebies. They say that freebies cannot be considered that are being given by the government as freebies. Rather, they are welfare schemes that are being taken to the front by the government of any state. Particularly in Tamil Nadu, there are various different schemes where a lot of such things are given for free for the people in the state. But these cannot be considered as freebies, is what the DMK is taking as a stand in this matter. They say that be it a very micro scheme or a macro scheme, it is going to be for the welfare of the people, and it should be considered only as a welfare scheme, rather calling it as a freebie. Therefore, the Dravidam Munnetra Kazhagam tries to put a point here saying that this cannot be a
And breaking news, our correspondent Piyush, who's in the Shivamoga area in Karnataka, has a fresh update for us in the poster face-off there.
ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ನಿಧಾನ ಮಾಡ. ತುಂಬಾ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಇದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು. छोटा है क्या इसमें? छोटा सर ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸಾಕು ಸರ್. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾ?
आएगा ही नहीं यार, क्या ऐसे रखा है? अरे आराम से
ये शिवमोगा का बीजेपी का प्रेसिडेंट जगदीश है और शिवमोगा भद्रावती नगराभिवृद्धि प्राधिकार का चेयरमैन श्रीयुत नागराज है. क्या चाहिए आपको, बोलो.
सर, जो भी हुआ है यहाँ पे, इसको लेकर प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन क्या है? सर, आप लोकल एमएलए हैं, यहाँ का सिचुएशन क्या लग रहा है?
यहाँ का सिचुएशन अभी तो सरकार और पुलिस अधिकारियों ने शांत करने के लिए अभी यशस्वी तो हो गया है. ये हम सबको अभी खुशी है. कल तक स्कूल कॉलेजेस सभी उनको हॉलीडेज था. आज से वो भी शाला कॉलेज भी ओपन किया है.
सर, लगातार आपके ऊपर एक इल्ज़ाम किया जा रहा है कि कांग्रेस की तरफ से और SDPI हो, PFI हो, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कह रहे हैं कि ईश्वरप्पा जी ये सारे चीज़ों के शुरू होने के मेन रीज़न है. उनके स्टेटमेंट्स, उनके बयान, ये लगातार ऐसे ही इल्ज़ाम लगा रहे हैं.
सर, यही नहीं, श्रीमालू जी ने भी यही बात कही है.
कौन कहे?
बहुत सारे VHP ने भी यही बात कही है मैंगलोर में कि अगर PFI और CFI को अगर बैन कर दिया जाएगा तो हम बीजेपी का सपोर्ट करेंगे, अगर नहीं हुआ तो फिर हम उनका सपोर्ट करेंगे.
देखो, हिंदुत्व वाले इस देश को नरेंद्र मोदी जी और हिंदुत्व दोनों को रक्षा करने के लिए बीजेपी ही चाहिए, सबको ही मालूम है. ये तात्कालिक आक्रोश तो है. हमारा सरकार कर्नाटक में भी है, हमारा सरकार केंद्र में मोदी सरकार भी है. ऐसा हुआ तो भी 2 हमारा कार्यकर्ताओं का हत्या हो गया है. इसलिए आक्रोश तो मुझे भी है, आक्रोश भी है. उसी तरफ पे हम सबको पेन भी है. हमारा 2 कार्यकर्ताओं को हम तो उसको मारने के लिए वो तो मर गया, लेकिन उसको कौन रीज़न है, इसके कारण कौन है? ये कारण तो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। केवल शिवमोगा ने नहीं, साउथ केंद्र नहीं, सारे स्टेट्स नहीं, सारे देश में ये एंटी नेशनलिस्ट PFI हो, SDPI हो, उनको सपोर्ट तो मैं डायरेक्टली अटैक करना चाहता हूँ। कांग्रेस ही उनको सपोर्ट कर रहा है, क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल शिवमोगा के SDPI वर्कर है, वो अभी तो वो जेल में है। उनका पत्नी कांग्रेस महानगर पालिका का कारपोरेटर है। वो आकर इधर सभी महात्मा लोगों का, महापुरुष लोगों का उधर फोटोस था। वो आकर सिर्फ सावरकर जी का फोटो काट कर दिया पहले, बाद में उसके साथ साथ वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी का और दूसरा हमारा महापुरुष का काट कर दिया। इसको भी सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का हमारा कार्यकर्ता, हमारे अध्यक्ष जगदीश के नेतृत्व में उधर प्रोटेस्ट किया। काम से हम प्रोटेस्ट किया, बहुत शांत से हम प्रोटेस्ट किया। कौन ये काम किया है? सावरकर को अपमान किया है। क्रांतिवीर सावरकर है, स्वतंत्र होराटगार है, उनका फोटो कौन ख़त्म किया है? उनको इमीडिएटली तुरंत उनको अरेस्ट करना है, उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेना है, हमारा डिमांड था। हमारा अध्यक्ष के नेतृत्व में सभी हमारा कार्यकर्ता उधर बैठा था। बाद में विथिन 24 आवर्स स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स वो कल्प्रिट को अरेस्ट किया है, वो तो अभी जेल में है।
लेकिन आपके ऊपर जो इल्जाम लग रहा है सर, एक दो हमको भी पूछना।
मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूँ, मैं बोलने के बाद सबको मैं प्रश्न पूछने के लिए मौका देंगे।
सर कांग्रेस इज नाउ
फर्स्ट बाद में सारे देश में कैसा आज़ादी का स्वतंत्र महोत्सव 75th का एनिवर्सरी हुआ है, घर घर पर तिरंगा। हमारा नेता प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी क्या कॉल किया था सारे देश को। शिवमोगा में बहुत सभी दुकान में, सभी घर में, सभी संस्थाओं के ऊपर तिरंगा फ्लैग फहराया। इसी समय में बाद एक बहुत बड़ा एक प्रोग्राम भी हो गया, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का प्रोग्राम भी हो गया, इंडिपेंडेंस डे का प्रोग्राम। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी में सर्कल में आप सबको मालूम है, स्वतंत्र होराटगार है T सीनप्पा शेट्टी, वो सर्कल में हमारा भी बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्राम हो गया और इंडिपेंडेंस डे का। उसमें राज्य महिला मोर्चा का प्रेसिडेंट श्रीमती गीता विवेकानंद भी आया था, स्टेट सेक्रेटरी विनय बिद्री भी आया था। बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्राम हो गया। प्रोग्राम होने के बाद हम सभी घर को गया, लेकिन बाद में हमें इंफॉर्मेशन मिला वो सर्कल में स्वातंत्र वीर सावरकर का फोटो राष्ट्रद्रोहियों ने उनको वो फोटो को निकल गया है। ये बात सभी शहर में बहुत आश्चर्य से आक्रोश आ गया। आक्रोश आने के बाद सारे लोग ने शांत से ही उसको भी प्रोटेस्ट किया। पुलिस वाले दोनों को भी इधर उधर भेजा, सबको भी, मुसलमान लोगों को भी भेजा और हिंदू कार्यकर्ताओं को भेजा। बाद में शिवमोगा के ये कोने में उनका दुकान क्लोज कर 2 वर्कर्स वापस घर जाता था। उसमें एक प्रेम सिंह और दूसरा है शरवणा तो बचकर भाग गया, लेकिन प्रेम सिंह को एक गुंडा, मुसलमान गुंडा ने उनको चाकू डाल दिया। वो अभी हॉस्पिटल में है, वो जीवन मरण में है। वो क्या होता है हम सभी मालूम नहीं, लेकिन ये सभी प्रोटेस्ट करने के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी पीसफुल से हम शिवमोगा कंट्रोल करने के काम क्या क्या कर रहा है, सब हम कर रहा है। आज तक, अभी तक हम किसी के ऊपर वो मारने के लिए कोशिश भी नहीं किया, क्योंकि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट, होम डिपार्टमेंट सभी अच्छे काम किया। लेकिन वो कौन आदमी अभी पेशेंट हॉस्पिटल में है, उसको कौन वो चाकू डाला है, उनको ढूंढने के लिए पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट बहुत कोशिश किया। उसमें सुबह 3:30 एक मर्डरर वो गुंडा भागने की कोशिश करने के समय में पुलिस वाले उनको फायरिंग किया है, उनको पाँव में वो पड़ा है, वो भी अभी हॉस्पिटल में है, वो भी मुसलमान गुंडा है। मैं इसलिए राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री बसवराज बोम्माई जी को और गृह मंत्री आर्गा ज्ञानेंद्र को मैं अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि शिवमोगा में पीस करने के लिए सभी हिंदू लोगों ने सपोर्ट कर रहा है, लेकिन मुसलमान गुंडा ने ना, मैं सभी मुसलमानों को गुंडा ऐसा नहीं बोलूँगा, क्योंकि हमारा मोदी, हमारा नेशनल प्राइम मिनिस्टर बोल रहा है हिंदू मुस्लिम क्रिश्चियन भाई भाई जैसा आप जीवन करना है। इसलिए सभी मुसलमानों को मैं गुंडा नहीं बोलूँगा, लेकिन कौन हत्या करने के लिए कोशिश किया है सिर्फ वो मुसलमानों को मैं गुंडा बोलना चाहता हूँ। उनको भी अभी अरेस्ट किया है। इसलिए मैं ज्ञानेंद्र, हमारा होम मिनिस्टर और हमारा चीफ मिनिस्टर बसवराज बोम्माई को भी मैं अभी अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ। नेक्स्ट डे भद्रावती में एक आदमी, हिंदू आदमी, वो जाने के समय में अगेन 4-5 दिन के पहले जेल से वापस आया था एक आदमी मुसलमान गुंडा, वो इनको मारने के लिए कोशिश किया है। ये सभी चीज़ आप देखो, किसी समय में भी हिंदू लोगों ने मुसलमान लोगों में अटैक नहीं किया है। शांति प्रिय से कौन कौन ये ऐसा गुंडागर्दी कर रहा है, उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेने के लिए चीफ मिनिस्टर को और होम मिनिस्टर को हम डिमांड तो कर रहा है, लेकिन ये गुंडा लोगों ने सारे स्टेट में, सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, शिवमोगा भद्रावती में ऐसा ही कर रहा है। इसलिए उनके ऊपर क्या एक्शन ले लेना, सभी बोल रहा है PFI और SDPI आपका सरकार ये है, उसको बैन नहीं कर रहा है, सभी बोल रहे हैं।
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the recently released Times of India B School 2022 rankings, a testimony to Amity BBA's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Today there has been a national embarrassment completely avoidable. The All India Football Federation has been suspended by FIFA. What this means is that India's football community, India's players, our football stars, our aspirants, our future talent, they've all been excluded as members of the global football body. And this has been completely unnecessary. And that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. The Under-17 Women's World Cup football tournament, which was due to happen in India in October, has been called off. It will still happen, but presumably it will not happen in India because India has been stripped of the rights to host the Under-17 Women's World Cup. And why is this happening, viewers? There are allegations today that this has happened because Praful Patel has instigated it. There is one group which is saying that once Praful Patel finished his term and had to go as president of the All India Football Federation, he remains a member of FIFA. And as a FIFA member, he instigated FIFA after giving up his post as head of the All India Football Federation. And as a result of all the infighting, ladies and gentlemen, as a result of all the infighting, the sum total of all of this is that Indian football has, at least as of tonight, as of this minute, been removed as a member of the Global Football Federation. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, that the Under-17 Women's World Cup, which carried the guarantee, the sovereign guarantee of the Prime Minister of India, that India is being stopped from hosting
the Women's World Cup in October this year. This is reprehensible. This is what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, when a politician puts himself first, our athletes today are doing well globally because they are being allowed to do so. Our footballers also can be world beaters, but not in these circumstances. Not in these circumstances. Viewers, think about the consequences. The Under-17 Women's World Cup, as I just told you, carried the guarantee of the Prime Minister of India. And tonight, therefore, all those involved must reflect on the consequences of their actions. And we must think tonight, how long should politicians be heading football bodies, sports bodies anyway? Is that what is required? Do they put their personal ambition above national interest? And that is why tonight I am asking viewers, what is bigger? National interest or personal interest?
वो हम कितना भी लोगों को हत्या किए तो भी ये हिंदुत्व वाले चुपचाप बैठता है। इसको कांग्रेस वाला सपोर्ट कर रहा है। कैसा सपोर्ट कर रहा है? सिद्धरामैया जो बोल रहा है, क्या बोल रहा है? हमारे ऊपर वो आपादन बोल रहा है ईश्वरप्पा। क्यों बोला? वो अभी वो गुंडा सावरकर का, वीर सावरकर का फोटो काट किया है ना, वो भी जेल में है ना, वो कौन है? उनका वाइफ भी कांग्रेस कारपोरेटर है, कांग्रेस कारपोरेटर है। उनको कौन सीट दिया है? यही कांग्रेस वाले ना। बोलकर ये राष्ट्रद्रोही काम मत करो। क्यों अभी तक नहीं बोला है? सिद्धरामैया हो, डीके शिव कुमार हो, ये एक बात भी नहीं कर रहा है। ये मुसलमान गुंडा वो क्या काम कर रहा है, उसके ऊपर आप आक्रमण करो, उसके ऊपर एक्शन ले लो। बोला है क्या? क्यों नहीं बोला है कांग्रेस लीडर्स? बीजेपी वाला बोल रहा है वो झूठ है, ऐसा बोल रहा है।
According to a statement by the European Commission, it said as several European countries endure high temperatures and a lack of rain, Europe could be facing its worst drought in 500 years. It also further stated that a definite answer for the same cannot be given at the moment. But according to current data presented, it looks like it might take a bad shape, even worse than 2018. As of now, the drought that the country is experiencing is affecting agriculture, forcing water restrictions and causing wildfires. United Nations spokesperson Stefan Dujarric announces Secretary General Antonio Guterres will be in leave to meet with Turkey's president. And the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the chief, is also scheduled to visit Odessa and Istanbul to see one of the ports involved in the Black Sea Grain Initiative and the Joint Coordination Center set up to implement it. Peru records the highest number of monkeypox patients in Latin America and the second highest in South America, according to Peru's Medical Association. Infectiologists in the country have begun to draw hypotheses to find the reasons for the rapid expansion of the virus.
In Odisha's Bhadrak district, normal life of people has now come to a standstill as floodwater from Baitarani river has inundated several residential areas. The DM of the area was quoted as saying that 3 blocks in Bhadrak district have been affected due to floodwaters. Meanwhile, 80,000 to 90,000 people have been affected in this area.
3 ब्लॉक में अभी पार्टली कुछ पंचायत में बाढ़ का स्थिति है। हमारा धामनगर ब्लॉक, भंडारी पोखरी ब्लॉक एवं चांदबाली ब्लॉक। तो उस हिसाब से प्रशासन की तरफ से सारे स्टेप्स लिए गए हैं कि जहां पे बोट डिप्लॉयमेंट हो, साइक्लोन जो शेल्टर सेफ शेल्टर आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो, ये सारा चीज़ें किया गया है। हमारे फील्ड फंक्शनरीज सारे जीपी जो कट ऑफ हुए हैं वहाँ पे है। कॉन्स्टेंटली हम PRI मेंबर्स के टच में भी है। अराउंड हम बोल सकते हैं कि 80,000 to 90,000
कर सकता है। सर ये का एक कांग्रेस का डिमांड, ये उडुपी की बात हो रही है, कांग्रेस का डिमांड है कि वहाँ पोस्टर है वीर सावरकर का, उसको हटाया जाए। ये डिमांड है कांग्रेस का, उसको लेकर अगर नहीं हटाते
क्या
तो प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे।
इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, कौन कौन इस देश में रहना चाहता है? ये माता का फूड लेता है, वो सभी हिंदुस्तान में रहने वाले वंदे मातरम बोलना ही होगा। हमारा सभी महापुरुषों को गौरव देना ही पड़ेगा। हम किधर हम चाहता है सभी जगह में हमारा महापुरुष का, वो वीर सावरकर का हो, डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का हो, और हमारा सभी नेताओं का, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की सभी नेताओं का फोटो हम किधर चाहता है वो सभी जगह में रहता है।
United Nations spokesperson Stefan Dujarric announces Secretary General Antonio Guterres will be in leave to meet with Turkey's president. And the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the chief, is also scheduled to visit Odessa and Istanbul to see one of the ports involved in the Black Sea Grain Initiative and the Joint Coordination Center set up to implement it. Peru records the highest number of monkeypox patients in Latin America and the second highest in South America, according to Peru's Medical Association. Infectiologists in the country have begun to draw hypotheses to find the reasons for the rapid expansion of the virus.
In Odisha's Bhadrak district, normal life of people has now come to a standstill as floodwater from Baitarani river has inundated several residential areas. The DM of the area was quoted as saying that 3 blocks in Bhadrak district have been affected due to floodwaters. Meanwhile, 80,000 to 90,000 people have been affected in this area.
3 ब्लॉक में अभी पार्टली कुछ पंचायत में बाढ़ का स्थिति है। हमारा धामनगर ब्लॉक, भंडारी पोखरी ब्लॉक एवं चांदवाली ब्लॉक, तो उस हिसाब से प्रशासन की तरफ से सारे स्टेप्स लिए गए हैं कि जहां पे बोट डिप्लॉयमेंट हो, साइक्लोन जो शेल्टर सेफ शेल्टर आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो, ये सारा चीज़ें किया गया है। हमारे फील्ड फंक्शनरीज सारे जीपी जो कट ऑफ हुए हैं वहाँ पे है। कॉन्स्टेंटली हम पीआरआई मेंबर्स के टच में भी है। अराउंड हम बोल सकते हैं कि 80,000 टू 90,000 लोग अफेक्ट हुए हैं जितना वो जीपीज़ में रहते हैं, बट अभी तक पूरा स्मूथ सारी चीज़ें कैसे रहते हैं उसका प्रशासन इंश्योर कर रहा है।
As part of massive manhunt launched for the killers of Kashmiri Pandit Sunil Kumar, hideout of an active terrorist Adil Wani has now been busted by the State Forest Service officers in Shopian. CBI to most likely question Anubrata Mondal's daughter Sukanya Mondal in connection with a cattle smuggling case. According to sources, it is highly likely that the interrogation may take place today itself, as a team has already been moved to Bolpur in midnight. In the cattle smuggling case, the CBI has come across important information pertaining to role of Anubrata and his daughter with regard to amassing of properties amounting to crores of rupees.
भी है, हिंदू भी है, क्रिश्चियन भी है। ये सिद्धरामैया ये समझा है हिंदुस्तान पाकिस्तान जैसे समझाए हो, उधर मुसलमान लोग ज़्यादा रहा होगा, उधर वो चुनाव करने के लिए सोच रहा है, मुझे मालूम नहीं। पाकिस्तान में वो चुनाव करो, लेकिन ये हिंदुस्तान है। हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमानों का उसी धर्म लोगों का 1 इंच भी भूमि उनका नहीं है, सारे हिंदुस्तान वाला का है। हिंदुस्तान में जगह है।
सर गणपति उत्सव भी है।
In Odisha's Bhadrak district, normal life of people has now come to a standstill as floodwater from Baitarani river has inundated several residential areas. The DM of the area was quoted as saying that 3 blocks in Bhadrak district have been affected due to floodwaters. Meanwhile, 80,000 to 90,000 people have been affected in this area.
3 ब्लॉक में अभी पार्टली कुछ पंचायत में बाढ़ का स्थिति है। हमारा धामनगर ब्लॉक, भंडारी पोखरी ब्लॉक एवं चांदवाली ब्लॉक, तो उस हिसाब से प्रशासन की तरफ से सारे स्टेप्स लिए गए हैं कि जहां पे बोट डिप्लॉयमेंट हो, साइक्लोन जो शेल्टर सेफ शेल्टर आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो, ये सारा चीज़ें किया गया है। हमारे फील्ड फंक्शनरीज सारे जीपी जो कट ऑफ हुए हैं वहाँ पे है। कॉन्स्टेंटली हम पीआरआई मेंबर्स के टच में भी है। अराउंड हम बोल सकते हैं कि 80,000 टू 90,000 लोग अफेक्ट हुए हैं जितना वो जीपीज़ में रहते हैं, बट अभी तक पूरा स्मूथ सारी चीज़ें कैसे रहते हैं उसका प्रशासन इंश्योर कर रहा है।
As part of massive manhunt launched for the killers of Kashmiri Pandit Sunil Kumar, hideout of an active terrorist Adil Wani has now been busted by the State Forest Service officers in Shopian. CBI to most likely question Anubrata Mondal's daughter Sukanya Mondal in connection with a cattle smuggling case. According to sources, it is highly likely that the interrogation may take place today itself, as a team has already been moved to Bolpur in midnight. In the cattle smuggling case, the CBI has come across important information pertaining to role of Anubrata and his daughter with regard to amassing of properties amounting to crores of rupees. Leading milk suppliers Amul and Mother Dairy will increase milk prices by 2 rupees per litre starting today on account of rising input costs. This is in fact the second consecutive hike by Amul and Mother Dairy in nearly 6 months.
In other international stories, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accuses Russia of nuclear blackmail, calls for new sanctions to be imposed in response to it. Further, Zelensky warns the presence of Russian forces around Europe's largest nuclear power plant threatens Europe and beyond. Army 2022 exhibition, Russia unveils a military robot with an attached rocket launcher. Robot is a 4-legged machine dubbed with M81, advertised as a combat unit capable of striking targets and transporting ammunition. According to sources, the robot was later found to have striking similarities to a Chinese model available for purchase at an online shopping site. According to a statement,
thanks for tuning in this morning. We are live and breaking, and I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Straight away starting with breaking news coming in from Karnataka and particularly from Shivamogga, where top BJP leader Ishwarappa just a short while back visited Shivamogga. Remember a massive charge that has also been made by him with regards to alleging the SDPI and PFI role for instigating tensions in the area. So Ishwarappa's controversial comment in Shivamogga saying that respect heroes if you want to stay in India, and that Akhand Bharat soon is also what he has said. So a lot of remarks, statements that have been made by Ishwarappa while on his visit to while he visited Shivamogga. Even as tensions continue to simmer in the area, we have Ishwarappa who just visited Shivamogga and said that there could be he also alleged a PFI and SDPI role. Saying saying that Congress openly instigated tensions and violence in the area. So Ishwarappa there making a big charge. We'll go across to Piyush as well, who's getting us the live updates from Shivamogga as we speak. Remember, tensions have been brewing in not just Shivamogga but in Udupi as well, where the Congress has demanded removal of Savarkar posters, and now in fact Ishwarappa visiting Shivamogga and saying that alleging a SDPI and PFI role with regard to the tensions that erupted in the area. We'll go across to Piyush in just a bit, but remember Section 144 continues to remain imposed in the area. In fact, security has also been beefed up, and Ishwarappa there while visited Shivamogga just a short while back. He is in Shivamogga as we speak, saying that Congress instigated tensions in the area. So controversial remark that has been made by Shivamogga at this point, saying that the arrested man's wife is a Congress leader. So remember, 4 arrests have been made in connection to the Shivamogga violence that broke out, and Ishwarappa saying that the arrested man's wife has a connection with the Congress. So BJP they're saying that Congress openly planned and instigated violence in Shivamogga, and also going on to add that icons need to be respected if you want to stay here. Let's once again listen into that soundbite of Ishwarappa, the reaction he gave just a short while back.
अब सर उडुपी में ब्रह्मगिरी सेक्टर पर भी एक पोस्टर लगा है, उसको लेकर कांग्रेस कहती है आंदोलन करेंगे, क्योंकि उसके अंदर में
करो आप क्या कर सकते, अभी तो बहुत किया है उडुपी में। क्यों 32 मर्डर सिद्धरामैया पीरियड में हुआ, वो चीफ मिनिस्टर था। कितना मुसलमान गुंडाओं को अरेस्ट किया है, 32 हिंदू वर्कर्स। आक्रोश तो हमारे वर्कर्स को क्यों है, हिंदुत्व वाले को क्यों है? वो कांग्रेस वाला तो मर्डर के सपोर्ट किया। 32 1 मिनट प्लीज। 32 मर्डर्स हो क्या है सिद्धरामैया का पीरियड में, बीजेपी सरकार है, यही समय में भी 2 मर्डर क्यों हो रहा है? ये आक्रोश है, मुझे भी आक्रोश है। इसलिए हमारा आक्रोश हम शांति से प्रकट कर रहा है। सरकार है, होम डिपार्टमेंट है, पुलिस है, इसलिए शांति से रहो, हमारा सभी वर्कर्स को बोल रहा है। कितना समय वो आक्रोश कंट्रोल कर सकता है?
सर, एनआईए का एक रिपोर्ट आया है।
कांग्रेस का डिमांड, ये उडुपी की बात हो रही है, कांग्रेस का डिमांड है कि वहाँ पोस्टर है वीर सावरकर का, उसको हटाया जाए। ये डिमांड है कांग्रेस का, उसको लेकर नहीं हटा
क्या
करेंगे?
इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, कौन कौन इस देश में रहना चाहता है? ये माता का फूड लेता है, वो सभी हिंदुस्तान में रहने वाले वंदे मातरम बोलना ही होगा। हमारा सभी महापुरुषों को गौरव देना ही पड़ेगा। हम किधर हम चाहता है सभी जगह में हमारा महापुरुष का, वो वीर सावरकर का हो, डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का हो, और हमारा सभी नेताओं का, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की सभी नेताओं का फोटो हम किधर चाहता है वो सभी जगह में रहता है। हम चिन्ह का फोटो नहीं डालेंगे, राष्ट्रद्रोहियों का फोटोस नहीं डालेंगे। टिप्पू सुल्तान वो राष्ट्रद्रोही, उनका ही हम नहीं रहेंगे। नेहरू इस देश का छिद्र कर दिया, हिंदुस्तान, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, क्योंकि उसी समय में वो प्रधानमंत्री बन गया। वो बोलना चाहता था ये हिंदुस्तान पाकिस्तान करने के लिए मैं नहीं एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, एक ही देश भारत हिंदुस्तान रहे तो मैं प्रधानमंत्री होना चाहता हूं, नहीं तो नहीं। ये बात वो बोला तो हिंदुस्तान एक ही रहता था सारे देश में। ये क्या वो मुसलमान गुंडा अभी काम कर रहा है, उसी समय नेहरू एक्शन लिया तो डेफिनेटली अखंड भारत रहता था। आज ना कल अखंड भारत डेफिनेटली देश में होगा, पाकिस्तान हिंदुस्तान में मिलेगा, बांग्लादेश भी हिंदुस्तान में मिलेगा। लेकिन ऐसा राष्ट्रद्रोहियों को, गुंडाओं को कांग्रेस कितना समय तक सपोर्ट करेगा? कांग्रेस निर्नाम हो रहा है। अभी तो सारे देश में कांग्रेस नहीं, सिर्फ कर्नाटक में तो उसका ये आ रहा है।
सर, 2 चीजें हैं। कांग्रेस लगातार कह रही है कि ये सारे चीजों के बुनियादी आपसे स्टार्ट होती है, आपने भड़का रहे हैं। दूसरी चीज है, एनआईए का एक रिपोर्ट आया है, वो कहता है कि मंगलूर का जो डेथ हुआ, मर्डर हुआ।
In fact, we're just going across live to Piyush, where Mr. Ishwarappa is there, top BJP leader. Mr. Ishwarappa is there. We'll just go across to him. Ishwarappa avare namaskara. Namaskara. This is Niranjan here.
Namaskar. बोलिए साहब, बोलिए.
ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ನಾನು ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೀವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. Mr. Ishwarappa, you just made a whole lot of charges. Now you made a whole lot of charges, Mr. Ishwarappa. You said, आपने बोला कि कांग्रेस का हाथ है इसमें। आप कैसे बोल रहे हैं? आपके पास कुछ प्रूफ है इसके बारे में?
कैसे बोल रहे हैं? शिवमोगा में, हाँ जी, शिवमोगा में सावरकर का फोटो कौन छीन गया है? वो हाँ जी, लीडर अभी जेल में है। उनका वाइफ भी शिवमोगा कारपोरेशन का मेंबर है, कारपोरेटर है। उनका पति ही है, अभी जेल में है। इसका पति को वो पत्नी कांग्रेस वाले है, पति क्या है? एसडीपी है। ये कांग्रेस और एसडीपी दोनों मिलाकर सावरकर का ये प्रोग्राम किया है, उसको हम खंडन कर रहा है। उसको ऊपर कौन कौन ऐसा कर रहा है कर्नाटक में, उनको क्या रिप्लाई करना हम देंगे।
नहीं, आप बोल रहे हैं कि उनका डायरेक्ट हाथ में इसमें एसडीपीआई और पीएफआई के साथ उनका डायरेक्ट रोल है, कुछ अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसका?
उनका वाइफ ही कारपोरेटर है, उनको कांग्रेस वाला टिकट दिया है, वो कांग्रेस का कारपोरेटर है। डायरेक्ट तो है या नहीं, आप ही बोलो। और ये दुर्घटना के बारे में कोई कांग्रेस वाला अभी तक खंडन नहीं किया है। वो सिद्धरामैया हो या डीके शिव कुमार हो, कोई भी ऐसा सावरकर का ये फोटो छीन लिया है, ये खंडन है, कोई भी नहीं बोला है अभी तक। क्या बोलना अभी तक?
आप बोल रहे कि ये पूरा जो सावरकर पोस्टर के बारे में आपने ये भी बोला था ईश्वरप्पा और ನೀವು you also said कि इसमें जो लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व है आप उनको मुस्लिम गुंडा बोल रहे हैं, आप ऐसे क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
डायरेक्टली मुस्लिम गुंडा ही वो ये काम किया है। मैं सभी मुसलमानों को गुंडा नहीं बोला है, क्योंकि हमारा प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी बोला है हिंदू मुस्लिम क्रिश्चियन सभी भाई भाई जैसा रहना है, लेकिन सभी मुसलमान गुंडा नहीं है। सम गुंडास ऑफ मुस्लिम्स ये काम किया है, उनको मुसलमान गुंडा बोलने तो क्या बोलना है उनके?
तो इनका प्रॉब्लम क्या है सावरकर का पोस्टर को लेके? कल सिद्धरामैया ने बोला ये मुस्लिम एरिया है, मुस्लिम एरिया में
ये सिद्धरामैया का पूछो।
नहीं, उसने बोला कि मुस्लिम एरिया में सावरकर का पोस्टर नहीं लगाना है। ऐसा क्यों है? क्यों नहीं लगाना है?
क्या सिद्धरामैया ने मुसलमान लोगों को उनका बाप का जमीन है क्या वो, या नहीं तो सिद्धरामैया का बाप का हो? वो जमीन सभी सारे देश में क्या जमीन है वो सभी भारतीय वो लोगों का है। वो हिंदू मुस्लिम क्रिश्चियन सभी कुछ भी नहीं है, सबका ही है। मुसलमान लोग किधर ज़्यादा है उधर क्यों सावरकर फोटो लगाना? हम सारे देश में हमारा महापुरुषों का पोस्टर्स सभी हम डालेंगे, वो सावरकर का हो या श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का हो, सरदार पटेल का हो, सभी फोटो को हम सारे देश में लगाएंगे। वो सिद्धरामैया को पूछकर हम लगाना है क्या, या मुसलमान लोगों को पूछकर लगाना है क्या? ओके, धन्यवाद।
Okay. That's Ishwarappa. He has to leave there. That's Ishwarappa telling Republic TV. I wanted to ask him many more questions, but he's saying it's clearly a communal charge that he's making there. You heard him. That is Mr. Ishwarappa of the BJP, very senior leader. Very controversial comments also being made, because at some point he also said those who want to live in India will have to chant Vande Mataram. He said if you want to live in India, chant Vande Mataram, and if you don't want to live in India, he said if you want to live, I think it was clear, he said if you want to live in India, you have to respect all Indian heroes and chant Vande Mataram. Will be interesting to see. I'm sure a lot of reactions will come into that controversial comment. He also spoke about Akhand Bharat, saying soon Pakistan and Bangladesh will be a part of Akhand Bharat. Now, these are comments that are bound to get some responses in a short while from now. Let's once again play out that soundbite of what he just said. This is what Ishwarappa, BJP leader, went to Shivamogga, to the location where the Savarkar poster. Let me go across to Piyush as well. If Piyush is live with us, we'll go across to him. Okay, before I go across to Piyush, let's listen in to what he said. This is Ishwarappa, top BJP leader, a few minutes ago.
अब सर उडीपी में ब्रह्मगिरी सेक्शन पर भी एक पोस्टर लगा है, उसको लेकर कांग्रेस कहती है आंदोलन करेंगे, क्योंकि उसके अंदर में
करो आप क्या कर सकते हैं? अभी तो बहुत किया है उडुपी में। क्यों 32 मर्डर सिद्धरामैया पीरियड में हुआ, वो चीफ मिनिस्टर था। कितना मुसलमान गुंडाओं को अरेस्ट किया है? 32 हिंदू वर्कर्स। आक्रोश तो हमारे वर्कर्स को क्यों है, हिंदुत्व वाले को क्यों है? वो कांग्रेस वाला तो मर्डर के सपोर्ट किया। 32 1 मिनट प्लीज। 32 मर्डर्स वो किया है सिद्धरामैया का पीरियड में। बीजेपी सरकार है, यही समय में भी 2 मर्डर क्यों हो रहा है? ये आक्रोश है, मुझे भी आक्रोश है। इसलिए हमारा आक्रोश हम शांति से प्रकट कर रहा है। सरकार है, होम डिपार्टमेंट है, पुलिस है, इसलिए शांति से रहो। हमारा सभी वर्कर्स को बोल रहा है। कितना समय वो आक्रोश कंट्रोल कर सकता है?
सर एनआईए का एक रिपोर्ट आया है। कांग्रेस का डिमांड ये, उडुपी की बात हो रही है, कांग्रेस का डिमांड है कि वहाँ पोस्टर है वीर सावरकर का, उसको हटाया जाए। ये डिमांड है कांग्रेस का, उसको लेकर नहीं हटा क्या करेंगे?
इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, कौन इस देश में रहना चाहता है? ये माता का फूड लेता है, वो सभी हिंदुस्तान में रहने वाले वंदे मातरम बोलना ही होगा। हमारा सभी महापुरुषों को गौरव देना ही पड़ेगा। हम किधर हम चाहता है सभी जगह में हमारा महापुरुष का, वो वीर सावरकर का हो, डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का हो, और हमारा सभी नेताओं का, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की सभी नेताओं का फोटो हम किधर चाहता है वो सभी जगह में रहता है। हम जिन्ना का फोटो नहीं डालेंगे, राष्ट्रद्रोहियों का फोटोस नहीं डालेंगे। टीपू सुल्तान वो राष्ट्रद्रोही, उनका ही हम नहीं रहेंगे। नेहरू इस देश का छिद्र कर दिया, हिंदुस्तान, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, क्योंकि उसी समय में वो प्रधानमंत्री बन गया। वो बोलना चाहता था ये हिंदुस्तान पाकिस्तान करने के लिए मैं नहीं एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, एक ही देश भारत हिंदुस्तान रहे तो मैं प्रधानमंत्री होना चाहता हूं, नहीं तो नहीं। ये बात वो बोला तो हिंदुस्तान एक ही रहता था सारे देश में। ये क्या वो मुसलमान गुंडा अभी काम कर रहा है, उसी समय नेहरू एक्शन लिया तो डेफिनेटली अखंड भारत रहता था। आज ना कल अखंड भारत डेफिनेटली देश में होगा, पाकिस्तान हिंदुस्तान में मिलेगा, बांग्लादेश भी हिंदुस्तान में मिलेगा। लेकिन ऐसा राष्ट्रद्रोहियों को, गुंडाओं को कांग्रेस कितना समय तक सपोर्ट करेगा? कांग्रेस निर्नाम हो रहा है। अभी तो सारे देश में कांग्रेस नहीं, सिर्फ कर्नाटक में तो उसका ये आ रहा है।
सर, दो चीजें हैं, कांग्रेस लगातार कह रही है कि ये सारे चीजों के बुनियादी आपसे स्टार्ट होती है, आपने भड़का रहे हैं। दूसरी चीज है, एनआईए का एक रिपोर्ट आया है, वो कहता है कि मंगलूर का जो डेथ हुआ, मर्डर हुआ, उसको लोगों को भड़काने के लिए किया गया था।
सर इसी
वो एनआईए का रिपोर्ट आपके पास है क्या? है क्या आपके पास? झूठ क्यों बोल?
So as you just heard there, top BJP leader Ishwarappa there making a big charge, claiming that miscreants belonging to a particular community were involved in these clashes and the violence that broke out in Shivamogga, going on to add that there could be a PFI as well as the SDPI role behind the clashes that broke out in Shivamogga. Well, let's move on to more news then. Some more breaking news that is coming in. Well, before that, we have visuals of the wreath-laying ceremony, which is underway as we speak, of the ITBP Jawans who were martyred in an accident that happened yesterday. In the visuals, you can see the wreath-laying ceremony that is being given for the ITBP personnel who lost their lives in the tragic accident that happened in JNK after the bus fell into a gorge in JNK. Remember, 7 ITBP Jawans lost their lives in this tragic accident that happened in Pahalgam area of JNK, where the bus was carrying 37 ITBP personnel and 2 policemen on its way to the police control room, where 7 personnel lost their lives in this tragic accident. In the visuals, you see the wreath-laying ceremony, which is happening in Srinagar as we speak. So the tributes and the respects being paid to the ITBP Jawans who lost their lives in this accident. We also have Zeenath reporting live. Zeenath, if I can come across to you, talk to us about these ITBP Jawans. Of course, a very, very unfortunate incident to have happened. If you could talk to us more about these ITBP Jawans and that tragic incident that happened yesterday.
See, these were the Jawans. They were going from Chandanwadi to Pahalgam when the vehicle skid off from the road and it fell into a gorge. We have been seeing the SDRF and other rescue teams were rushed to the spot. But unfortunately, some 7 soldiers of ITBP lost their life in the tragic incident, and the ones who have been critically injured, out of which 7 are still critical at the 92 base hospital. Yesterday, LG Manoj Sinha also visited the injured soldiers at the army hospital in Srinagar. We are beaming the visuals of the wreath-laying ceremony that is being done here in the Srinagar to pay tributes to the fallen soldiers. This is an incident that took place yesterday in the South Kashmir's Anantnag district. The area where this happened was Chandanwadi, where they were travelling from Chandanwadi towards Pahalgam when this unfortunate incident was reported yesterday in the morning.
Yes, yes. Also, Zeenat, if you can talk to us more about the tributes being paid to the ITBP Jawans as we speak. We understand a wreath laying ceremony is also happening. If you could talk to us more as we keep up with these visuals of the final goodbye to our fallen soldiers.
See, the visuals that we are beaming shows the final goodbye to the soldiers of ITBP who lost their life in a tragic road accident yesterday. The visuals are from the Srinagar's DPL where the rich tributes are being paid to the fallen soldiers who lost their life, and from here their dead bodies will be flown to their respective place, and then accordingly the bodies will be handed over to the loved ones. This is a very tragic incident that took place yesterday in Anantnag of South Kashmir as this bus was travelling from Chandanwadi to Pahalgam when it skid off from the road. It was 39 soldiers who were on board. As of now, 7 have succumbed to the injuries and others are being treated here at the base 92 base hospital in Srinagar.
Yes. Zeenat, stay with us. We also have Colonel Rohit Dev joining us. Colonel, of course, a very unfortunate incident, and while we speak, 7, of course, Jawans lost their lives. We understand that several others are still battling for their lives. They are undergoing treatment at the base camp. If I can get your response and this as the final respects are being paid to our martyrs.
I actually, want to pay homage to these ITBP soldiers who have lost their precious lives and also be solace to their agreed families. And I just wish that people who are in 92 base hospital with the army, they are, on the path to recovery, and I wish them well. And this is very unfortunate because a road accident to lose precious life and, as per initial reports, if it's a brake failure or otherwise, or the alertness of driver, I think we have come to the 21st century and we should be much more careful with our convoys. That's not the time to discuss now the nitty-gritties of that, but I will just keep it to the fact that this is very unfortunate, and that's now how trained soldiers of a motherland have to go away. And I'm happy that people have paid their condolences at the highest level. I'm also very happy to see the response of the local units and ITBP and how the local people as well, including hospitals in the vicinity, have reacted. So that is one part to observe as a positivity. And I just wish that these soldiers who are in 92 base hospital, they come out of it, safe, and they come out healthy and they recover. And I just pray for the departed soul, and I just hope that the families who have lost these soldiers, the braves, can have solace to carry on with their lives and cherish their sweet memories, because lives cannot be brought back, and that's very, very, very unfortunate. And we used to, in military, paramilitary forces, we do pay a lot of emphasis on road convoys, speed, negotiations of curves, and checking of vehicles. And I'm not, saying that anybody is to be blamed for this, because it's a God's act finally, because the mechanical things can fail, alertness of the driver can go down. But the kind of impetus we give as soldiers and commanders in field to the safety of our people to travel and commute, I think that should only, get strengthened and beefed up as the new measures. And maybe, something could be done there at the level of the military forces, paramilitary, including ITBP and CAPF. And we must ensure that these accidents don't happen like this. It's very sad to lose precious lives, trained lives, soldiers who are committed to our motherland in a way of a road accident. And that's the best, it's avoided. Should have the seat belts on, should have everything to do with safety. I think that's only the way forward. I cannot say much actually because I'm loss of words here. But I do, hope that the departed soul find peace and the families find solace and the troops who are in the hospital recover fast. And I'm very, very happy that the nation is with them. Channels like yours are paying tribute to them, and there are leaders in the field paying tribute and looking after the, safety of our soldiers who are back in hospital and also recovery of assets. So I think overall, while a very sad thing has happened, I see a lot of positivity on the sidelines in terms of reactions and what's happening as well. And I just hope that their death does lead to some kind of more safety institution
institution like safety to be put in all convoys of our military, paramilitary and CAPF all around our country and also in the UN missions where we travel in such transport. Civil high transport is something which, people have to take in J&K because of paucity and conservation of our own fleet. But I think a mechanical check and maybe if it is, done through the military realm or the paramilitary realm for a check of these vehicles before they start, I think, because they are running day in and day out. So I'm not too sure if these civil high transport are actually paying due attention. But let's leave it to the inquiry and what comes out of it. But really a very unfortunate incident which happened, and my heart goes out to the families because they are going to bear this brunt. I hope the organization looks after these, martyrs and gives them the due to their families without, much documentation hassle as well. Because when this happens, then many things come in the domain to their, kith and kin, where they understand that their, NOK documents are incomplete, bank documents are incomplete. I just hope, we also focus there and make sure whatever is due to those, next of kin is given to them. Yes. So that's from me, and thank you, Republic, for, looking after our soldiers, even in grief. Thank you very much.
All right, Colonel Rohit Dev, thank you so much. So Colonel Rohit Dev there expressing his condolences and also saluting the departed souls, the martyrs who lost their lives in this unfortunate incident that happened yesterday where the bus fell into a deep gorge in J&K.
नए वाला पुराने वाला नहीं पुराने वाला है एनडीआर में है ज्यादा ही गर्म हो रहा है बहुत गर्म है आके करवा लेते पूरा पागल अरे जनाब बीच में मत आओ उधर इधर ऐसी दिखा रहा हो आर्मी है भाई नहीं मानता नहीं बी आर्मी का आर्मी जब हम इनके पास जाते हैं वहाँ ये नहीं उधर से इधर यहाँ पे 8-6 लाख से पड़ी है कोई जुमा कर नहीं है
ceremony there being held for our martyred Jawans. Zeenat continues to be with us, reporting live from Srinagar. Zeenat, talk to us more about the sacrifice that are made on a daily basis by these Jawans. A very unfortunate incident to have happened. Talk to us more about these Jawans who work in these rough terrain away from their family members. And this, of course, this tragic incident that has happened in which 7 Jawans lost their lives, and a big loss there for their family members.
See, as far as this visuals are concerned, we are seeing the visuals coming from the district police line of Srinagar, where the distributes are being paid to the fallen soldiers. In the visuals, one can see the ADGP Kashmir, Vijay Kumar. Similarly, the officers from the CRPF and other forces are paying tributes to the fallen soldiers. When we talk about Pahalgam at its terrains and what the soldiers were doing there, they were on duty there. They were traveling from the Chandanwadi to the Pahalgam. You see, Pahalgam has been quite busy for the last 2 months or so because of the Amarnath Yatra, which just concluded on Monday before a day of on Raksha Bandhan. That Yatra was concluded. In this Yatra, more than 3 lakh Yatris pays visit, and the soldiers from the Army, ITBP, BSF, CRPF, JNKP are always the part of the Yatra to conduct not only the Yatra but to see the situation and also see the safety and security of the Yatris. So ITBP was the part of the Amarnath Yatra, and yesterday they were being de-inducted. And when they were on their way from Chandanwadi to Pahalgam, we have seen the help coming from the rescue teams of JNK Police, BSF, similarly the CRPF and other people chipped in so that the soldiers who lost their life, their bodies are retrieved, and similarly the ones who are injured, they are being given the first-hand treatment, the first aid immediately as soon as possible. In fact, the army also played a great role by airlifting all these soldiers from that very terrain. They were shifted to 92 base hospital Srinagar, and where they are being treated. In fact, we witnessed the LG Manoj Sinha paying a visit to the injured soldiers. He met the soldiers and also took information from the doctors treating these injured soldiers. He was accompanied by DGP JNK Police Dilbag Singh. He was accompanied by ADGP Kashmir Vijay Kumar, and all other officers were there yesterday in Badami Bagh Hospital, the base camp hospital. In fact, this hospital has witnessed, is seen as the Angels Hospital. Whosoever comes there, he gets better treatment. So that is why seeing the better medical facilities at the base camp hospital of 92 in Srinagar. They were airlifted from Pahalgam to Srinagar, and since then yesterday they are being treated. But doctors there have been maintaining the soldiers who have been admitted in the hospital. 7 of them are still critical. They have not been able to make much improvement as far as their medical conditions is concerned. This incident happened yesterday around 10 o'clock when the bus falls into the gorge when it was traveling from Chandanwadi to Pahalgam.
Accident there. 7 of our precious Jawans losing their lives. Zeenat, when we spoke yesterday, this is Rukma here, you also told us that the driver who was a Jammu and Kashmir police personnel, he too lost his life. Meanwhile, when we talk about this particular ceremony, it's full of tradition, it's full of, solemnity, as we see in those visuals. Zeenat, what about the family members have they been informed? Take us through what's happening.
See, as far as the family members of the deceased are concerned, they have been informed yesterday only. That is why I said that from here, after the distributes would be prayed, these bodies will be flown to the respective places, and then from there, the bodies will be handed over to the families for the last rites. This is one of the unfortunate incident that was reported yesterday in Pahalgam, where these ITBP soldiers lost their life. In fact, they were also accompanied by the 2 Jawans of the JNK police, who too have suffered the critical injuries in the entire incident.
Right, and take us through what's happening now. The wreath laying ceremony, we believe, is currently underway. Zeenat, are we waiting for the ceremony to begin, or is it complete?
Over in some time from now, because almost all the officers who have to pay their tributes have already paid tributes, because most of the officers, the top cops of the J&K police and similarly the CRPF and other forces have paid their condolences, the tributes, the respect to the fallen soldiers. Their bodies are lying at the district police line Srinagar, and from here they will be flown to the respective places, and then from there for the last rites the bodies will be handed over to the families. In the visuals we witness how the wreath was being done by the Jammu and Kashmir police at DPR district police line, where the ADGP Kashmir police chief Vijay Kumar was present along with his team, who were yesterday even the part of the rescue operation. They have paid the tribute. Similarly, we witnessed that the CRPF chief was also there, and all other people who paid their tributes to the soldiers. Meanwhile, we are also seeing and hearing that the treatment for the injured one is still on at the 92 base hospital of Army in Srinagar.
And viewers, as Zeenath's been telling us, this is the wreath laying ceremony. Most of the top officials of the Jammu and Kashmir police as well as ITBP have performed the ceremony, have paid their tributes. And as Zeenath was telling us, in a short while from now, once the ceremony is over here, the mortal remains of the fallen soldiers, of the martyred soldiers of the ITBP will be taken to their respective hometowns. What we are witnessing is the final salute, the last salute to our brave martyrs of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police who lost their lives in a tragic accident yesterday. And as tweets and condolences are pouring in, mourning the loss of these precious lives. President Draupadi Murmu has said, I quote, "The tragic loss of precious lives of ITBP personnel is an unfortunate incident in Jammu and Kashmir and fills me with sadness." This is what President Draupadi Murmu said on Tuesday and offered condolences to the bereaved families. She also said that she was praying for the speedy recovery of the injured. As we know, 6 personnel of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police and a policeman died, while 32 others who were returning. And as Zeenath, who's been giving us each and every update regarding this incident, has been telling us, well, it's a huge tragedy that has taken place. Major General K.K. Sinha now joining us on the phone line. Major General Sinha, we are witnessing a very solemn ceremony full of tradition, and the entire nation today mourning the loss of these tragic loss of these precious lives, our ITBP Jawans who lost their lives in that tragic accident yesterday. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it is a great loss to the nation. These boys who are, going for their duty and deployed into a very, very rough terrain and in the rough area and meeting an accident where the bus has gone down the street. And, some of them died and some of them critically injured. It is a great loss. ITBP is doing a wonderful job and a very difficult duty they are performing. The ITBP is basically, deployed and has been raised for, defense of the country against China. And they are deployed in the areas and the higher Himalayas where they are doing this duty around the clock. So this is a great loss. And these boys who have been, coming down and going to the duty, there are 2 aspects of it. Today, of course, we are, actually, having this ceremony which is going on, where we are honoring these people for their duty, for the devotion, for the thing which they have, set for doing for the nation. But the second time, this kind of accidents which are taking place, sometimes gives me a feeling that we have to go in detail. These accidents are avoidable accidents in my mind. I do not know this bus belongs to whom? Have you gone in detail? Who was the driver? Is this a civil bus which has been hired? Is this bus going all the time and taking them? Who was the driver? And what condition? What was the speed? One has to go, because this type of accidents are taking place quite frequently, where the security forces, they are traveling for their journey up and down to this difficult area, whether they are going through their duty from their leave, they're from the transit camp, traveling in these areas. This has to be gone in detail. I do not know. I'm raising the issue on, this occasion when the whole, India is, mourning the loss of these people. But this has to be gone in detail, and we have to check that what is the reason, who was the driver, because you have asked me this question. The second thing which comes in the mind, which I am trying to, put across to you.
Right, Major General Sinha, we'll have to leave it at that for now. Many thanks for joining us and for speaking with Republic. And coming up in a short while, it's the final salute to our ITBP martyrs who lost their lives in a tragic accident in Chandanwari in Pahalgam yesterday. All the details and updates here on Republic. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Today there has been a national embarrassment completely avoidable. The All India Football Federation has been suspended by FIFA. What this means is that India's football community, India's players, our football stars, our aspirants, our future talent, they've all been excluded as members of the global football body. And this has been completely unnecessary. And that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. The Under-17 Women's World Cup football tournament, which was due to happen in India in October, has been called off. It will still happen, but presumably it will not happen in India, because India has been stripped of the rights to host the Under-17 Women's World Cup. And why is this happening, viewers? There are allegations today that this has happened because Praful Patel has instigated it. There is one group which is saying that once Praful Patel finished his term and had to go as president of the All India Football Federation, he remains a member of FIFA, and as a FIFA member, he instigated FIFA after giving up his post as head of the All India Football Federation. And as a result of all the infighting, ladies and gentlemen, as a result of all the infighting, the sum total of all of this is that Indian football has, at least as of tonight, as of this minute, been removed as a member of the Global Football Federation. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, that the Under-17 Women's World Cup, which carried the guarantee, the sovereign guarantee of the Prime Minister of India, that India is being stopped from hosting the Women's World Cup in October this year. This is reprehensible. This is what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, when a politician puts himself first. Our athletes today are doing well globally because they are being allowed to do so. Our footballers also can be world beaters, but not in these circumstances. Not in these circumstances. Viewers, think about the
जी जी मोबाइल में फोटो खींच लेना हाँ आ जा तुम हेलो यार एक मिनट पहले बीच में
भाई जाना भाई साहब करना है करो यार हम लोग
Breaking news coming in from the Kashmir Valley. As you can see, those are visuals of protests, loud protests by the Kashmiri Pandit community since yesterday's ghastly killing, the shooting rather of two brothers in an apple orchard, which shocked the entire community and in turn the entire nation. Two unarmed civilians shot at by terrorists in an apple orchard even as they were working, causing the death of one. The other is continuing to battle for his life in hospital. And since then, Kashmiri Pandits have been stepping up their protests.
कोशिश यहाँ पे कश्मीरी पंडित समुदाय की तरफ से की जा रही है कि जिस तरह से कश्मीर घाटी में आम नागरिकों को निशाना बनाया जा रहा है वो जो है बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा और ये लोग जो हैं लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन अपना जारी रखेंगे। यहाँ पर कुछ कश्मीरी पंडित एक्टिविस्ट जो हैं वो यहाँ पर हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं। क्या आप लोग मांग करते हैं यहाँ पे विरोध प्रदर्शन?
हम लोग हमेशा एक ही मांग करते आए हैं, वो यही करते हैं कि हिंदू समुदाय कब तक ये सहता रहेगा और कब तक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हमारा फायदा उठाती रहेगी। हमने खाली एक ही बात करनी है, या तो हमें कश्मीर से इधर वापस लाओ या तो वहाँ पे हमें सिक्योरिटी दो। गवर्नमेंट फेल है, इस गवर्नमेंट को रिजाइन करना चाहिए। ये गवर्नमेंट का कोई नामो निशान नहीं है। कैसा हिंदुस्तान है ये जहाँ पे हिंदू मरते हैं और अभी कलेक्टर है कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ड्यूकॉम मीटिंग लेगा और बोलेगा एम्प्लॉइज वापस आ जाओ। एक एक घर का बंदा मर रहा है और ये लोग मजाक समझ रहे हैं हर एक चीज को। इनके घर के
तो लगातार जो है इनका कहना है कि जो सरकार की तरफ से सुरक्षा है वो मुहैया नहीं करवाई जा रही और यही कारण है कि लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन ये लोग कर रहे हैं। गौरव साहनी के साथ गुरसिमरन सिंह, रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क।
So Kashmiri Pandits, they're stepping up their protest, demanding peace, demanding more security for themselves. There are a list of demands. Gursimran, our correspondent on the ground there, speaking with the Kashmiri protesters. The protests increased after the Shopia killing yesterday, in which two brothers were targeted. It was another targeted killing of innocent civilians in the valley. Two brothers who were working in an apple orchard were shot at by terrorists. One of them succumbed immediately and the other is still battling for his life, sending an incident that sent shockwaves across the community. In other international stories, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky accuses Russia of nuclear blackmail, calls for new sanctions to be imposed in response to it. Further, Zelensky warns the presence of Russian forces around Europe's largest nuclear power plant threatens Europe and beyond. Army 2022 exhibition, Russia unveils a military robot with an attached rocket launcher. Robot is a four-legged machine dubbed with M81, advertised as a combat unit capable of striking targets and transporting ammunition. According to sources, the robot was later found to have striking similarities to a Chinese model available for purchase at an online shopping site. According to a statement by the European Commission, it said as several European countries endure high temperatures and a lack of rain, Europe could be facing its worst drought in 500 years. It also further stated that a definite answer for the same cannot be given at the moment. But according to current data presented, it looks like it might take a bad shape. Even worse,